Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my live stream today. I guess I'm going to be covering a wide range of topics, probably to do with Canada as well as the Vatican priest. Sorry, I gotta mute this stream there, but I'll wait until a few more people hop in. So who's all in here? Anybody in the chat? Hey guys. Yeah, no, there's a lot of juicy topics today. How far, there's one article came out 13 hours ago by the Huff Post. How far-right extremists in Canada and abroad have adopted Trump's symbol as their own. And then also there's, like this Mexican hat Trump supporter being attacked by a dyke, right? I don't know if I can say that. I'll probably be removed from YouTube. Then there's also another tranny being attacked by a bunch of Muslims in, I think this was France. What else? There's rhinos being poached, and all these people giving these poachers sympathy, as opposed to whenever a white hunter goes to these areas and hunts, everybody's like, oh, these people are the worst human beings alive. They need to be taken out and removed from society. Trump is far right. Okay. Are you asking me, is Trump far right? No, I wouldn't say he's far right. He's more probably actually an actual centrist. I saw that story reads like the Jungle Book. Yeah, no, there's a bunch of stories. Plus there's this Vatican cardinal warns that the West will disappear within, with Muslim immigration. Also a story from Israel, and just a few other things. But elephants stop poacher, lions eat poacher. Baha. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. The poachers got trampled by elephants, and then they got eaten by lions afterwards. Did you hear Quiggin on Hazelton yesterday? No, I caught the very end part of that stream, but I missed the majority of it, unfortunately. But I'll go back and watch it. Maybe I can get that guy on my channel eventually, right? Bring him on, do a interview as well, because I honestly I don't follow the Tom Quiggins guy, so I don't really know anything about him that much. I've heard about him, I've seen a little bit, but I'd definitely be interested to look, because apparently he's talking about all the connections that Trudeau has with Islamic ties and giving money to these jihadists overseas. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he would be willing to come on. I just have a hard time to connect with people because I don't have Twitter, right? And Twitter, I'm completely banned from it, so I can't really use it. I can still kind of go on there and look at articles, look at the trending feed and all that stuff. I can use that, but I can't comment and respond to anybody, which sucks. But yeah, that would be awesome to have him on. If anybody knows of anybody else that they would want me to host, potentially to interview or something, let me know as well. Yeah, hit the like button, you sodomites. Like, what the fuck? There's probably a couple dislikes. Oh no, no dislikes yet, but I'm sure those 2 people that come and dislike each one of my videos is going to be here very soon to whatever. I don't care. It just still boosts the algorithm anyways. So I'm like, go ahead, downvote me all you want. I don't really give a shit. Twitter banned my whole IP. Yeah, me too. I can't. Every time if I make a new one, they ban it. You have to go through all these loopholes to make a new one. So I'm just like, fuck it. I don't even give a shit. They can't even create fake accounts anymore. It auto bans me. Yeah, exactly. I got banned from Twitter because I was arguing with a Muslim, and that's why I got banned from Twitter. And I wasn't even saying anything bad. I was just talking about, like, I can't remember. We're just arguing back and forth. But I guess the algorithm saw, oh, right-winger person arguing with Muslim must be banned. How did I get on the public space? I don't know. There was this guy, Matt. Sorry, this guy, Matt. I guess, he's watched some of my content, and he was promoting me to some of the people like Pravada, who gets the guest for JF's show, and he was promoting me to him. So that's how I got on. So I could probably get back on his show again, you know, in the future for sure. That's what he was saying. And, you know, I had a little bit of difficulty too, because the stream that was being fed to me was delayed. Like the audio was fine, but the image was delayed. So I kind of like, you know, it was a little bit like, is he done talking? So I kind of like, you know, waited to respond a few times. So I think it could have went a little bit better, but nonetheless, I had a good time. No, he didn't pay me or anything, but you know, maybe he was just waiting. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm glad for the exposure. As soon as I got on there, I gained 50 or 60 subs like right away, pretty much. So I'm like, oh, nice, right? And you know, I had a good time. It was good. I had a good time. Does JF pay you? No. What if you log into someone else's account? If I do that, I think that their account would be deleted as well too, or that now you wouldn't be able to, because they track your IP, right? So even if you give me your account, I could maybe start it, but I would have to, like, I think having a VPN and make sure never to open it, you know, with my cell phone, and never use it with my cell phone, because when you use it on your cell phone, it always asks you, like, you know, confirm your cell phone number, etc. Yeah, it's pretty hard to get around it now. So it's almost like, fuck it. You know, go to IDW, right? Go to IDW, guys. Follow me on IDW. And, you know, there, at least I can contact and talk to people and, you know, have conversations on messages, you know, because like I said, I can't do DMs like on Twitter and all that bullshit. So that is a good way to contact me. Or also join my Discord as well. If, you know, you don't want to go on IDW, go there, and we can, you know, you can give me stories that maybe you want to talk about that, you know, are interesting, because, like, you know, I can't see everything that is going on in the news. You know, I miss a lot of stuff, important stuff too. So to have people, you know, giving me stories or saying like, hey, did you hear about this? Hey, did you hear about this? Like, all that stuff really helps. It helps a lot. Oh, hey, Rainy Steps. Thank you for your donation, man. I haven't seen you in a little while, man. How you been, buddy? Thank you. Thank you again, though, for your donation, man. You've like, I wanna reiterate, you know, how grateful I am to you, man, because you honestly have donated so much to me in the past and stuff, and continue to do that. And I don't take it for granted. I want you just to let you know that. And I don't want to suck your dick too much here, but thank you again. I appreciate that. Half of Slavey McSlaverson is Canadian, half is American. Oh, you're half American, Slavey? Okay, you need to get off. You're going to be banned. You're going to be banned pretty soon from my chat. We've been colluding. She makes accounts for me faster than I get them banned. Yeah, exactly right. You know, it's shitty, and that sucks, because I did like Twitter. I did like using it. I do like the platform, but hopefully IDW and platforms like this can get bigger and grow. But, you know, I guess I'll start, you know, I'll do a screen share here so you guys can see it too. I like this. I wasn't even using the screen share before on Hangouts for the longest time, where I'm like, oh, I could have done this the whole time. But I'm pretty much like a boomer when it comes to technology. I didn't have a computer in like myself until I was like 18, 19, because, like, you know, we were like poor and shit. And I didn't have a cell phone until a really long time too. I just didn't, honestly, I just didn't want to get one, because I didn't want people to be able to track me and be like, oh, where are you? Oh, come here. Oh, where are you? I'm just like, I like the ability to like go away and have nobody, and just kind of like ignore the phone. I still do that with the cell phone anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. They're like, oh, he's ignoring me. yeah, I'm ignoring you. Sorry. Yeah, but, you know, I like Twitter just because I could follow all of the news and shit. I kind of lost the will to argue with people after a while, because, you know, I'm like, I'm sick of arguing with these random people. It's still good occasionally, but I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to start making videos and content. And that way I can, make an argument in a video and it reaches more people. But that doesn't mean I'm against people arguing with other people if they don't want to make content, because that is a way to change minds. It works sometimes, not always, but they say a lot worse. Does Canada have 5G yet? No, we don't have 5G yet, but there's already lots of studies that show the harmful effects of orgy and stuff in schools. In Europe, they ban it from schools. Like, you're not even allowed to have, cell phone receptions and all this stuff going into the schools and all that, because they, the studies show it has negative impacts on children and, women that are pregnant and all this stuff. So 5G is just going to be even worse. So yeah, you guys should check out that video. I think it was by Mouthy Buddha about the whole 5G thing. He made it like a couple months ago, but check that one out. It's pretty good. So, I don't really trust it, but here, I'll do a screen share here. One sec. Hey, Fox. My daughter bought a Border Collie puppy. Oh, Border Collies are good, man. Those are good dogs. I used to have a Border Collie as well. But I'll start off with the Huffington Post article here. It's talking about right-wing supremacy, etc. Let's see here. Oh, shit. Oh, I gotta make the screen a little bit bigger so I can see it. Okay, share. So you guys can see the screen, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. Okay, how far right extremists in Canada and abroad have adopted Trump's symbol as their own. So now, they're bringing up like Alexandre Bissonnette. And this is the thing. It's the same thing with the New Zealand shooter and all that. They're going to be using this for years and years. And this is just such an iconic photo. It's like that, you fucking asshole, but it's almost like good in a way. After they're trying to smear people who wear Trump hats, I'm like, now we should actually wear them even more. But it goes on. Alexandre Bissonnette wore that hat. Bissonnette hadn't voted for Donald Trump. He lived in a French-speaking Quebec, far from the U.S. president's campaign rallies and America First appeals. But some of the first photos to emerge of the 27-year-old after he stormed the Quebec City Mosque and killed 6 Muslim men in January 2017 showed him wide-eyed with a slight smirk and a red "Make America Great Again" cap casting a shadow over his pallid face. Make America great again. And why do they keep showing his face, right? How come we don't see the New Zealand shooter's face, but this guy, it's okay to we learned our lesson about promoting people's faces and causing copycat killers, but we already show this guy a lot, so we may as well just keep doing it. And then Make America Great Again has become more than a U.S. political slogan. For Bissonnette and other white nationalists, radical right and anti-immigrant extremists all over the world, is a symbol, a kind of political messaging that transcends the specifics of country and language. They're kind of right about that. Like, people from other countries will wear that, but it's not necessarily a white supremacist nationalist symbol, because a lot of those people don't even support Trump anymore. So the hat and the MAGA acronym, it just kind of shows it's a symbol more for, hey, we want to take our countries back from globalists. That is probably more what it symbolizes. The hat and MAGA acronym have really become shorthand for this white nationalist movement, said Barbara Perry, a professor of the University Ontario Institute of Technology and an expert on the far right. Oh yeah, I'm sure you're an expert on the far right. I should search your last name, see where you come from. Perry, origin. Okay, you're French. You're all right. I'll let you off. I'll let you off this time. A professor at the University of Ontario Institute of Technology. Searching for MAGA symbolism is one of the easiest ways to know his online extremism and members of hate groups. Perry and other researchers have found a game of Where's Waldo for Racist 2018 study by extremist research GM Burger that analyzed tens of thousands of alt-right Twitter accounts found the most common word in their profiles was MAGA, and the most frequent pairing of the word was Trump supporter. You know, I highly doubt that, because they're just lumping in a lot of Trump supporters with the alt-right. But if they actually truly define what the alt-right was, I doubt that a lot of them would say MAGA or Trump supporter. They were probably like, Trump supporters are idiots, and Trump's a sellout, or et cetera, et cetera. And this embrace of pro-Trump symbols isn't limited to social media. MAGA hats and slogans have shown up in Britain at rallies supporting anti-Muslim activist Tommy Robinson, on banners in Australia following the terror attack in Christchurch, New Zealand. So, fucking media, they're going to keep using this over and over. And as an accessory for prominent European white nationalists who wear it to troll their fellow citizens. And like, this is like, what, like promoted by like Sargon, and but he's not a fucking white nationalist. Canada's far right has a particular affinity for MAGA apparel. It often appears on white nationalist media personalities and far right trolls attempting to disrupt anti-racism demonstrations. Okay, so how do we disrupt it? There's like one person, usually they walk in a crowd of a bunch of raging leftists, like, you're disrupting it. But then there's like rallies of Antifa showing up at just basic conservative rallies, attacking people, throwing piss and bottles at them. And they're like, oh, they're just standing up against racism. The head of the World Coalition Against Islam and Canadian extremist group that openly refers to Muslims as sewage routinely wears a MAGA hat at rallies. So I'm sure a message on one of their accounts said that Muslims are sewage. So now they're all said that. In Canada, the MAGA hat is widely seen as a symbol of hate. Yeah, because we're all a bunch of cucks. A middle finger to other Canadians. What? Especially to women and people of color. Even Bal Gord, executive director of Canadian Anti-Hate Network. What do you mean, even him? He's the director of Canadian Anti-Hate Network, which monitors extremism, wrote an email. The country's oldest retailer, Hudson Bay's company, recently apologized for selling Make Canada Great Again hats and removed them from its store after public backlash. Yeah, fuck you. You're a pussy. The Hudson Bay, you can't even sell that. I'm going to boycott your store. MAGA symbols abroad aren't solely the province of extremists, but they tend to attract a certain type, anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim politicians, in particular adopted the Trump Association slogans and paraphernalia. Leader of Italy's far-right League Party, Matteo Salvini, posed with a MAGA hat on his office shelf and held an Italian's first rally, while Islamic-phobic Dutch politicians Geert Wilders promised to make the Netherlands great again. The anti-immigrant, and like, these are great leaders, by the way, like Salvini and Geert Wilders. They're not bad people. They're making a difference. They're doing good for their country. The anti-immigrant alternative for Germany party's deputy leader Beatrice von Storch, whom German prosecutors investigated for inciting hatred against Muslims, wore a red "Make Germany Safe Again" hat during an election campaign. So yeah, the German I don't know what, Gulag police, fucking investigate her for hate speech, just like what in France Marine Le Pen is facing prosecution because she shared a video on Twitter about like Muslims doing bad shit and like attacking people. It's like, and she's gonna get charged for that. It's hilarious. Beyond mimicking Trump's rhetoric to rile up nationalist sentiment in their own countries, the international far right embraces the U.S. president because he helps bolster the narrative of rising support for a global anti-immigrant, anti-establishment movement. When the most powerful person in the world says that Islam hates us and attempts to ban Muslim immigration, it's proof that perhaps other world leaders can achieve a similar goal. And that's true. Good on Trump for saying stuff like that. And it does empower other leaders to come out and potentially say something, which is good. Trump, for all of his flaws and of late, it's good that that's what I'm saying. Like, it's good that people just come out and say some things, because that can embolden other people. And we like to think that, you know, it's going to be a kind of bottom up change to some extent, but you look at history, you look at all the changes through history, a lot of it is by individuals, single people that forced change on people, that changed people's mind, that spoke out, that convinced people, large masses of people, right? It's usually, a lot of times that's usually how it works. So it's good when leaders say things to get people to be like, yeah, right, fuck these illegals, you know, illegal immigrants, etc. Instead of calling them, oh, they're border crossers and you know, going and agreeing with the left about what they're calling them, and not, you know, using rhetoric that demeans them. Trump's campaign was anti-Muslim, and he enacted anti-Muslim policies while in office, said Matthew McGregor, campaign director for the British-based anti-racism advocacy group Hope Not Hate. He has given the far-right encouragement, I'm pretty sure that's funded by George Soros, encouragement, and left them with the impression that things are going their way. It gives them credibility that if this is from the president of the United States, then it must be all right to have those views. Yeah, it does. And that's a good thing. Far-right extremists have also long attached themselves to symbols, slogans, and anything that identifies them as an in-group separate from broader public. Some extremist groups have taken up Nordic symbols. Others use thinly veiled references to Nazism, such as 88 for Hail Hitler as a wink to others. The movement, European neo-Nazis groups even sometimes carry Confederate flags in their demonstrations. In that sense, it's natural that extremists who view Trump as a gateway to white nationalism have embraced his emblems. It gives them credibility that if this is from the president of the United States, then it must be all right to have those views, blah, blah, blah. We already read that. But if the support of mass shooters and violent neo-Nazis would make the average politician issue forceful condemnation and distance themselves from the rhetoric and symbols that appeal to extremists, Trump has essentially done the opposite. He has claimed they are very fine people on both sides. They keep bringing this up, of Charlottesville white nationalists unite. The right rally helped promote anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about George Soros and broadcast white supremacist talking points from the Oval Office. The Christchurch attacker manifesto included a section on Trump that encapsulates many far-right extremist views of the U.S. president. Although the attacker disagreed with some of Trump's policies, he claimed he supported Trump as a symbol of renewed right identity. The day after the attack, however, Trump again dismissed the threat of white nationalism. Even he borrowed its language to describe immigration as an invasion. That must be stopped. It was another example. And he wasn't talking about immigration. He was talking about illegal immigration. But once again, they always lump these two things together to make Trump out to be worse than he actually is. And a lot of people would wish he is as bad as the people are trying to make Trump out to be. It was another example of why Trump's symbolism still resonates with extremism. He has done little to convince them that his views are not their own. Oh, as Perry puts it, he still wears the hats. So, you know, I'm curious, like, who wrote this article anyways? Nick Robbins Early, I don't know, some douchebag. That's what he is. I can't really stop sharing that. But yeah, so, you know, that's just another article trying to demonize anything in Canada that is an association with Trump and the MAGA hat, a symbol that isn't bad at all, that isn't, you know, that most actual right-wingers, that most actual Nazis don't even support. Most of them, maybe they wore it initially during the campaign, but that's about it. None of them are wearing it anymore. They don't take it seriously. And most of the people wearing it are not racist, are not even nationalist per se, or even close to white nationalists. But this is their goal of the media, the left, is to try to frame anybody like that, anybody who's wearing it, as a bad, evil person, right? There's this old guy, Trump supporter, who's assaulted, attacked pretty much, or like, you know, condemned. She was trying to dox this mohawk wearing lady, and it turned out he was like a Jewish guy who wears like a, you know, a thing below his hat. So is this guy a white supremacist? Well, of course, to a leftist, yeah, he is a white supremacist. I'm like, these people are jokes, and it's, to see them trying to make these associations is pretty funny. Okay, so let's check out the chat here. Oh, hey, Fredrick, how's it going, buddy? Let me check out here. Anyone see the new Paul Jones Watson? You'll see some funny stuff. Yeah, it's funny when she was trying to do a black accent. She's like, y'all do this, and hey, everybody, and it's all right if you drive a bus, and it's all right if you do this, and it's all right if you cook for people. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I really hope that alienates people. But I honestly think I want to get Make America Great hat again as well, because it would be hilarious to troll people and for them to get angry and be like, you're a white supremacist. I'm like, yeah, sure I am. But that's why we got to kind of do it more. Like, the more rhetoric they use like that against people who wear that, the more you should be wearing it. Oh, thank you, Fredrick, for the donation, buddy. Do you think the Muslims are morphology micro-lendings? I'm not really sure what you meant. The left thinks she's a genius. Yeah, if they think she's a genius, it shows you just how far gone the left is right now in Canada, how stupid they have really fucking become. It's really sad. But it's these articles like this, I almost like. It exposes the left more for how insane they really are, and only the people who eat this up are other leftists. And but you also just see how they use these old attacks. 3 attacks that happen, and this Alexandre Bissonnette is constantly talked about over and over. But we're not going to hear about the Islamic terrorist and all this other shit, because it just doesn't fit their narrative, and they'd rather make it white people, and especially Canadians, think that this is the biggest threat that we're facing, right? There was a recent poll done, and it said that Canadians think that white nationalists are the biggest threat, more so than Islamic terrorism worldwide, which is, it lets you know that the propaganda is working against a lot of people. And this is, in line with what they want to do. They want to get the majority of the public in line or on board with agreeing that white nationalism, that white supremacists are a bigger threat than Islamic terrorism. So then they can put it on the terrorism watch list, like they have been trying to push for a long time. You can look this up. There's these liberals have been trying to push to put right-wing extremism on the terror watch list for a long time, but CSIS has constantly been saying that no, they're not like an international, a non-national threat. There's no point of doing it. But that doesn't stop them from continuing to try. And if they can get the public support on their side, then it's even more likely. Then you're going to start to see a huge crackdown on anybody actually talking about this stuff, because they should be cracking down more on Islamic terrorists, but they'll kind of let that stuff slide. But you think they're going to let this stuff slide if we get made into potentially a terroristic group? Anybody talking about white replacement and whatnot is going to be censored, charged, put in jail, because they'll be able to with the law. But that's just leftists. They're scum, and they'll try to win by any means necessary. Okay. Oh, thanks, Fredrick, man. I didn't even see the other donations. I'll get you a limited edition. Thanks for the donation, man. I really appreciate that. Come on, dude. Learn to use the new Njima slur machine. Oh, right. I saw that on your, what do you call it? The IDW. Yeah, I got to use that. Speaking of like a base politician, though, there's one right here. I'm going to share a screen again. Here, one sec. Senator Fraser Anning. Like, I really wish we had politicians like this in Canada. That would be really fucking great. Oh shit. But this is the guy. Senator Fraser Anning. This is the guy who got egged, I'm pretty sure, by that teenager. We have the right to preserve our ethno-cultural identity, Europeans are heading towards becoming a minority in their own countries around the world. We have the right to defend our people and our way of life. So this is a politician in like Australia. Like, we need politicians in Canada to say this fucking shit. And this guy he's still a senator. He hasn't lost his seat. So this is like proof. This shows you that, like, you know, people saying this shit can win, can stay in office, can do something. Yes, but has it occurred to you that white skin isn't the ideal color for a country like Australia? We're not the melanoma capital without reason, or for a bit of So, you know, you need to be replaced because, you know, white people, their skin isn't really good for this climate anyways. So, you know, all the shit you built and, you know, created, just leave and go move to the north and go to a really cold climate or something like that. I personally think this guy's a cuck. I can just tell. Look at his eye. I personally think all the races should completely mix until we're a diverse genetic cocktail, and there's no reason for cultural or racial motivated violence and hate anymore. Yeah, I'm sure you're Jewish. Yeah, I probably, or you're just an idiot. You watch too much Star Trek. Well, we are certainly heading that way, and I know people like Richard B. Spencer can't even stand it. Global trade, the almighty dollar, and the explosion in technology has connected humanity like never before. Yeah, no, only in white countries. We will never go back to the way things were when the British ruled. Fuck you. Just fuck you. Doesn't it even occur to you that this country belongs to the First Nations people? Hearing that they have become a minority in their own country. Us white folks are descendants of invaders or immigrants. Yeah, no. They were settlers. They were settlers, and they, you know, stopped the savagery that was going on among the native people in that area. And I'm sure they treat them too well a lot of the time, but you know, they're better off now. This is not our country. Sorry about that. We have a right to defend our people and our way of life. So yeah, see, they just make fun of white people. You can see, this is another example. Like, see, this is the only people that you can make fun of on the media. In the media, you can dress up as white people with crooked teeth and pretend you're stupid, and they're going to show this to little kids on Nickelodeon. Hey kids, look at me. They should do that with black people and pretend they're like thugs and speak all Ebonics, and see how that goes. Put that on Nickelodeon. See how people like that. There are European countries outside of Europe for a start. Hint, Australia isn't in Europe. So, but the thing is, they always use this, you know, but Australia, Canada, America, they're not European countries. Well, guess what? The same rhetoric is being used in France, in England, in all these other countries. They're also being demographically replaced, but, you know, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And then, you know, those people, is being a minority bad or something? Yes. Listen to you guys bitch and moan about it. And considering how bad you think we are, yeah, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. You should seek help, old man. You're a fucking delusional conservative racist run this planet. Most of them European. European, are you sure? George Soros, is he European? I guess he's got some European DNA. I can't wait to watch you fade into obscurity, you fucking pair of clown shoes. So, I mean, white people, Europeans, quotes, their own countries and around the world, have a think about this first. No. Why do we need to preserve our ethno-cultural identity? What even is our ethno-cultural identity? You know, it's just sad. Australia is a multicultural country. We have been for a long time. What's the point of segregating people based on their ethnicity or culture? You know, you may disagree with segregation, but it's going to happen anyways. There, people already self-segregate, you fucking idiot. You are aware of Australia's history, right? It belongs to the white people. It belongs to the Aboriginals who were made minorities. That doesn't belong to them. They didn't create anything. I'm sorry. But if you don't create anything, you don't have even language or anything like that, and you're just roaming nomads, then no, the land doesn't belong to you. And the land that people prize right now and want control of the resources of the lands that they built up and created, and it wouldn't be there if it wasn't for them. But they're stupid fuckers, right? And then you got this woman, I mean man, getting attacked by a bunch of Muslims, and then she later came out. He later came out and said, "I don't blame these people. I blame just a few ignorant people." That's diversity is our strength. Diversity is our strength. Diversity is our strength. Il faut d'urgence revoir le contenu de l'éducation sexuelle dans les écoles de la primaire. C'est une revendication majeure et blablabla, un immense rapport. So it's all French. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, you know what? This is what you get. I'm sure you held up a sign saying, refugees welcome. Refuge, diversity, multiculturalism is great. So yeah, I don't care. I really don't give a shit. If they get attacked, that's what happens, and you suffer the consequences of your actions, and you pay for them. I don't feel sympathy. I don't feel sympathy for people that go to Morocco and backpack across Europe. I don't feel sympathy for those Canadians who got stolen, who got what do you call it? I don't know, kidnapped and brought into Mali. I don't give a shit. Maybe people will start to wake the fuck up, but still what happens? They're still like, I still don't blame this, and it's still these damn evil right-wingers are using this to promote their shit. And then there was this dyke attacking a Mexican Trump supporter.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I have a right not to be harassed. I have a right not to be harassed. You have no reason to harass me because of my ass. It doesn't matter. You have no reason to harass me just because I'm wearing a Trump hat. What is wrong with you? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You have no reason to harass me. Where is the supervisor? He is the president of America, and I should wear whatever I want. Where is your supervisor?
Look at her, man. Like,
exactly. Do not harass me because of my hat. I don't care if you don't
she
agree with
top
it.
or bottom.
To wear it. Okay, racist. I'm a Mexican racist against the white. Yeah.
You can be a Mexican racist.
I'm a Mexican racist against the white like you. Yeah, I'm so racist.
Yeah, you can be.
Listen to your argument. But whatever you do not harass me.
I agree. You can be a Mexican racist against the white. But she isn't being racist, but you can be.
What is wrong with you?
I don't like these women like this because they think they can like beat up men and stuff. She's probably a security guard. I guarantee it. She's a security guard.
You're shaking. Get yourself together. Seriously.
Now she's being racist. Now she's being racist.
I support the president of America. And if you don't agree with that, you should move somewhere else. I am Mexican. Get my address.
Oh my God.
You should move somewhere else if you don't like it here. If you don't like America, you should move out of America. Go to Mexico. Go to Central America if you don't like being here. If you don't like who the president is. And don't ever lay a hand on me. You hear me? Don't ever lay a hand on me. Nobody touched you. You psycho. Nobody touched you. I don't care. Record me all you want. I don't care. If I was afraid, I wouldn't be wearing this hat in the middle of the street. For crazies like you.
Fight her. Fight her.
Psycho.
Fight her. That'd be funny though. Oh my God. Yeah, it's a lot of fucked up shit. I like that politician in Australia. He's a good guy. I think we should get more people like him in office. Let's check out the chat here. Thank you again for all your donations, Fredrick, though, man. I really appreciate that. I think Pelosi is drinking more these days. Yeah, she's fucked up. AOC is a lava. Diversity. You're not away. I always hear about it. If anybody's got any other topics you want to bring up too. Oh, Derek the racist is in my chat. I saw him there. He's talking about race mixing as usual. We're going to mix until we are all trans, solos, and Chewbacca's. Yeah, you know, I'm not against race mixing or anything like that, but for a great fucking laugh, isn't a lumberman. Let's see here. Start calling our white left out and say they need to move over for minorities to lead. Yeah, exactly. That's what we need to do. We really got to push this diversity to leftist and be like, okay, we need to put low income residential housing in your areas, you know, ASAP. We need to make sure that trans athletes get put in like liberal schools first so they can compete with these people. And, you know, that would be great, but that's just hard to achieve. Usually they just try to fuck with us first. It's called BAT. Has anyone noticed there's literally no white people in YouTube ads? Yeah, I know, right? It's all like Asians and like black people and like, you know, it's funny because I saw this thing with what was her, Beyonce. She turned down an ad for Reebok because the people that approached her weren't diverse enough, and there wasn't enough black people in the people that came and asked her if they wanted to be a part of the thing. So now she's doing a thing with I don't know, Adidas or something. And I'm like, you know, these fucking racists, man. Like they're so racist. They're openly racist. And essentially they're like, oh, there's too many white people. Oh, diversity just means less white people. That's what it always means. It doesn't mean anything other than that. Whenever they say diversity is our strength, diversity is our strength, it just means less white people is a good thing. Less white people is a good thing. Less white people is a good thing. Blah, 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 blah. So if anybody here, hit the like button, share, etc., you know, do all that good stuff. Sharing the video really helps too, you know, even hitting the like, all that stuff, you know, makes a big difference. And that's not a ghost in the background. If anybody's worrying about the door randomly opening, that was my cat being a bastard. He keeps coming in and out. I keep closing the door. Then he comes in, then I close it on him. Then he opens it and he goes out and he comes in, goes it. And I'm like, you're being a fucking asshole. You're being a fucking asshole right now. But I really like that senator who said that in Australia, and then what he got egged, and then all the people were making this egg kid into a hero, and they're like, he egged him. What a hilarious boy. So funny. He's so funny. I love it. Okay, let me see this. Let me check out the chat. Crickets. Chupa. I know Chupa is being a little son of a bitch like usual. It's not different than he usually does. Kitty. The left only weapon is cell phone and talking points. Right. She was mimicking that lady's Mexican language. I'm sure she got in a lot of shit for that from like a bunch of minorities. They're like, hey, why were you pretending to speak in a Mexican accent, you racist? I'm like, oh, anybody can be racist. Yeah, right. Anybody can be racist, but a lot of people think they can't be racist, especially against white people. It's like, oh, you how can you be racist against white people? They have all the power and privilege, and you know, I'm Mexican. How can I be racist? And we're like, well, you know, I kind of disagree with that. I think you definitely can be racist, but there's also this thing where you guys heard about that story where this poacher got killed. He got run over or trampled by some elephants because he was trying to hunt some rhinos, and then later on some lions killed him. But I just find the response between some poachers dying as opposed to white hunters either dying while hunting or killing like an animal in Africa, right? And it's like you see just the outrage whenever they do it. And it's like, oh, last time a white hunter I remember died doing this hunting thing, and they're like, yeah, good, he got what he deserved, and ha ha ha, blah blah blah. But this one, all of a sudden, these leftists have like a lot of sympathy for this poacher, right? It's like, oh, he had no other means to survive, and blah blah blah, which is bullshit. A lot of these people, they don't need to poach in order to survive. And they're just doing it to sell like the fucking horns and shit, like, I don't know, Chinese or something. But I guess I'll do another screen share here. But I thought it was just funny, just the different response, right? And there was some people saying that, oh, it's good that these people got killed too. Don't get me wrong. There were some people that were like, yeah, nice. But I just found these two, Matthew Clayfield and then this Dr. Kiki Sanford, and you know, probably a couple other people who made like, you know, just typical leftist responses to this. Go here, screen share again, share. Okay, so there was rhino poacher trampled by an elephant and eaten by lions in South Africa. And you know, that's funny. You know, I don't give a shit about poachers, honestly. But I don't know if you guys heard about the WWF Foundation was like hiring people to go and like kill poachers, and like hiring like guerrilla forces to go in and kill people. I was going to bring up that article, but I forgot. Or I was like, fuck it. But then here, Corey Feldman said something about it. Best news I've ever heard all year. Good riddance. Every once in a while, nature gets some justice. See, he was supporting it, but I was just like, what the hell? Why is Corey Feldman? Like, what happened? Weren't you going to talk about pedophilia in Hollywood? What the fuck? You know, it seems to me like you just use that as like a way to promote yourself. Give me money, please. Close the door again because that fucking cat keeps coming in and out, but I'm pretty sure he's going to come in and open it again like a little piece of shit. Man, fucking asshole. Okay. Corey Feldman, but it's like, yeah, why have you not spoken about the pedophilia in Hollywood? You know, I'm not going to listen to you until you start opening your mouth about that shit. But seeing a lot of Schadenfreude, I don't know, whatever the fuck that means. Some like Russian, German, Jew word or something. Laced responses to the story about poacher being trampled by elephants and eaten by lions. Beyond being cruel and distasteful, this sort of thing also overlooks the structural causes of poaching. Yeah, I bet you, you know, I should have done a search with this guy's name and try to figure out like what he said about like, you know, white farmers, either white poachers or hunters, legal ones, being killed or killing animals. I really would like to see his response. But where local communities in a better economic place, their men wouldn't feel the need to poach big game for international criminal interest, or at least fewer of them would. Community development needs to be a key aspect of any national or international anti-poaching strategy. So this is just propaganda to be like, we need to give more money to Africans to help their economy, to give them, you know, jobs and all this bullshit, right? It's like, no, fuck that shit. Fucking cat. He did. He came, open it again. Piece of shit. Oh. Okay. And then there's this bitch. And blah, blah, blah. You're so excited. Okay, so I watched the conversation between my husband and 8-year-old child and was reminded that no matter how much I want to change things, it is my child who has to deal with the consequences. Can we get to work, please? So they're using this guy's, I don't know, death as something to, I don't know, get governments to change policies in other countries in Africa. Because, like, you know, you're not even from Africa, first of all, and blah, blah, blah. You're all so excited about nature fighting back against one poacher as if that is the fucking solution. Yes, I use the F word. So they care so much because the guy's black, right? That's a difference. But elephants are not going to fix this for us. Neither is a beautiful David Attenborough nature program. You need to vote for people who will truly represent you. You need to make a difference purchasing decisions. You are part of the ecosystem. And, you know, partially, but most individuals, regular people, are not buying rhino horns. Okay? Nobody's buying rhino horns. It's not up to us to stop buying rhino horns. Okay? There's a few people doing it, and they're doing it illegally. It's not us. We don't need to make any fucking policies. If anything, they just need to privatize more shit, which I'll show you later on. They're like, can trophy hunting help African reserves and conservation? Which actually, you know, it does. But they're just like, no, we need more government intervention. We all need to work together. And part of that is accepting that government is a system that works to enact the will of the people. Really? It works? Government system works to enact the will of the people? Are you sure about that? I don't know. Doesn't, you know, at 60%, the majority of the people want to reduce immigration in their countries, in all Western countries. But is the government system facilitating that for us? No, this seems to be doing the opposite. Have we gotten away from that? Then let's fix it. No. Let's give them more power and more ability to control things, and this will fix things because the government is great. How do we fix it? Let's talk about that. Is there anyone who doesn't want it fixed? Yeah, just shut up. She's probably going to get like a bunch of liberals that are like black people are like, get out of here, you white liberal. You know, stop doing this. Shut the hell up. That's kind of funny. Shut up. I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't. Whatever. I lulled at the headline too, but then realized that we can do better. Oh yeah, I realized that guy was black. But then you go here, outrageous, cruel monster, shoot 2 dead young elephants as self-defense. Killing of an African giraffe sets off anger as white American savage who shot it. Like, you know, it's like these people kill these animals legally and actually helps preservation, conservation, but then they get completely smeared by the media. Oftentimes, killing of African giraffe sets off anger at white American savage who shot it. You know, it's like, okay. And this, you know, it was self-defense. So they're questioning whether these guys killed this animal in self-defense. They're like, oh, they killed this poor elephant because it, you know, charged and was trying to kill them and run them over. Probably like it killed that poacher. Like, you know, that elephant that killed and trampled the poacher, who the poacher was trying to kill rhinos. It wasn't even trying to kill elephants. So the elephant came upon the poacher when he wasn't even looking and trampled him. So it probably was trying to kill them. So, but people are like, oh, cruel monsters. You know what? They probably fed this to the villagers and they were ecstatic about it afterwards and were like super happy. But you know, you go, can trophy hunting help African conservation? This is National Geographic. Okay, even saying this. So, you know, according to a recent study in the 23 African countries that allow sport hunting, 18,500 tourists pay over $200 million US a year to hunt lions, leopards, elephants, warthogs, water buffalo, impala, and rhinos. Private hunting operations in these countries control more than 540,000 square miles of land. The study also found that's 22% more land than is protected by national parks, and it's actually protected better than the national parks, and it's conserved better. But I'll go down a little bit more because it mentions like the number of but the southern white rhinoceros grew from just 50 animals a century ago to over 11,000 wild individuals today, because hunts gave game ranchers a financial incentive to reintroduce the animal. The authors write. So capitalism saved the fucking rhinos, the white rhinos in that area, and I'm sure all the ones on the conservationists by the government were probably all killed by poachers. Trophy hunting has also driven the reintroduction of Cape Mountain zebra and black wildebeest in South Africa. Hunters typically take just 2 to 5% of males annually from hunted animal populations, he added, which has a negligible effect on populations' reproductive health. You know, and there's still, you know, people that are like, don't kill the animals. Trophy hunting is bad and it's horrible, yada, yada, yada. You know, you're all fags. You're just idiots. And, you know, they usually give the animal to the fucking people afterwards. And then like I said, the villagers love that shit. So why are you doing that? Why are you taking that away from them? Really makes no sense, but that's what they want to do. They want to do that. Let me see here. But what are you going to do? These dumb leftists don't know what they're doing. But as you see how the difference between the people's reaction when it comes to white people and the hunting there, and then you know, when they get killed or something. But here, one sec here. I want to try to find it because I remember just a while ago some white hunter got killed and everybody was like up in arms, joyous about it, saying this is the greatest thing that has ever happened in my entire life. And oh my God, that guy got what he deserved. But when it comes to these people, oh, we need to give them, you know, sympathy, and we need to understand why they're doing this. But really, if you want to help the animals and stuff, you need to privatize it. If you want to help land, if you want to conserve land, the best way to do it is to privatize it, because then that person has an actual incentive to preserve it a lot of the times. Other than what the government does, it just makes a bunch of land inaccessible and says, oh, you can't develop here and build here because of these toads or something. And you're like, oh my God, like, you know, this is stupid. And like I said, like a lot of the African animals have actually been benefited from hunting. So, and they usually kill the adult males that are going around and killing all of the other, you know, eligible young adult males, right? So they're killing the younger ones to, like, you know, remain the alpha. So yeah, you take those ones out and it actually helps the population grow and expand and stuff, right? But, you know, they're just we gotta have sympathy for these poachers and all this shit. And like, nah, we don't. I have to take off. Thanks. Oh, have a good one, Fox. Thank you for coming by and joining me. Let me check the chat up here. Dude, you're confused. That's the new Gillette ad. This is why we need to bring more Muslims here. Okay, I went pretty far up here. Only continent. Call. Okay, so let me go back down. If anybody's got any questions, just throw in my name in the chat there. What couldn't Prince Charles be trampled when a murder of mom elephant in front of her baby? Do you know how many Native Africans are killing everything? Yeah, exactly, right? And if we really want to help conservation in Africa, stop the population boom that is going in there, because guess what? People need food. They need food to eat. And if you keep producing more people, they're going to need more food to eat. They're like, we got lots of space. We could put all the people in Mississippi. We could fit a whole planet in the state of Texas. Oh, see, we got lots of place. No, man, we don't. You need resources to feed people. Where are you going to get these resources? This is why they're trying to make us all vegans and shit. Those fucking disgusting vegans. Because there's not enough meat to go around. And we can't all, you know, if we're trying to make fake meat because there's not enough meat to go around. If we keep making more people, like, what do you know, but then, we're just going to eat off beans and rice, like Anarchor. Like Anarchor wants us to do because it's the food of the gladiators or something. We got to live off beans and rice. But yeah, these people, they need fucking food. So the more their population increases, the more you're going to see poaching, the more you're going to see, you know, degradation of the animals in Africa and a diminishing of their numbers. Race we all used to be called by tribe names. Even white tribes exist. How can two white people make a black baby? It happens. Even two black people can have a white baby. We all have I don't know. I don't think two black people can have a white baby. War Amps, national creation. Let's see. Have a good day, Fred. Even though you gave me a wrench and took it away. Oh, you took away Linda's wrench? What an asshole. Yeah, I know. Fred, he can be like that. Cat Nazi, cat lives matter. You shut up, Saint. You know what the hell you're talking about. Cat lives only matter when I say they matter. Hey, Kelly, how's it going? Nice to see you here. Saying hello to everyone. I see lots of familiar faces here, then off to shower and then go to PPC meeting. Love to all. I'll be listening in the background. Oh, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening, Kelly. I really appreciate that. Hope you're doing well, by the way, as well. I really do. African poachers are the poorest of the poor on earth. They're like coca growers in Colombia. Peasants. Background. Hey, where's my wrench? Damn it, AJ. You got a wrench. You got a wrench. Kelly, Foxy. There it is. The roads have me doing tire rods, ball joint springs every season. Fox, you're a wrench too. Yeah, I give wrenches to a few people. I'm sure there's a few people that I could give more wrenches to, but I can't. I don't want my whole chat being like blue wrenches, because then people like, you get everybody a wrench. I'm like, no. I'm sure I'll give more out sooner or later. The more people that come around, you'll get your turn. War amps for carbon tax. Canada is under an invasion. Take notice. Foreign doctors wanting to ban guns, along with foreign corporations, foreign ministers, illegals, and so on. Canada's under invasion. They need our guns, right? That's true. You look at all these dual nationals in Canada that are subverting our laws, asking for more of their people to come in. And now they're just like, yeah, these Pakistani, Indian doctors being like, I see lots of gun violence, so we need to ban guns. Like, no. We need to keep guns. We need to give people more rights. We need to loosen the regulations when it comes to gun rights in Canada. And I'm for everybody being able to carry guns whenever they want. And unless it's like a private business and you're like, hey, I don't want, you carrying a gun in my nightclub, right? That's all cool. Then people have a right to their own business and be like, hey, I don't want you bringing your handgun in my nightclub. Be like, okay, fine. But walking around the public and all that stuff, I think people should be able to carry openly. But it'd be horrible. We'd be like America, and people would be dying everywhere. Whatever, man. The only reason America has high crime rates because of, honestly, black people killing each other. If you were to reduce that, take that away, there wouldn't be a massive crime rate in America, even with all of the guns that they have, right? So guns are not the issue. Guns are not the problem. Yeah, there's going to be some accidents, but how many times are people saved by guns as well? They only talk to you about the gun deaths, which they also correlate a bunch of suicides. And they're like, well, 3/4 of them were suicides. And they're like, oh, well, see, that's a gun death. And they're like, man, he would have OD'd and thrown himself off a building anyways. So that doesn't even count. And then a large other percentage of it is gang violence and shit. And if you want to curb gang violence, you need to give everybody in that community a gun. That's how you curb like gang violence. Give all these people more guns, more ability to defend themselves, and obviously it has to do with like economic reasons too. Like if you bring more jobs in there, but it's hard to bring jobs into a place like a ghetto where you're going to get mugged and robbed and potentially killed. So that's why businesses don't go there as well. But if the community around there were allowed to legally own guns, then they could, and have like a stand your ground law type thing. They could, pretty much get rid of all the criminals that have guns illegally anyways. So, you go and they pull a gun on you. Now everybody in the community will just pull out their gun and just shoot the fucking criminals. And then they'll all be killed eventually, or they'll go away, they'll run away. And then the crime rate in that community will go down. And I think that would be better, because you can't trust the police to do all this stuff. First of all, people don't trust the police, especially black people. They don't trust the police. And there's good reason not to trust the police, because a lot of them are scumbags. Not all police, but a lot of them are scumbags. A lot of them have taken advantage of black people in America, in Detroit, and all these places. A lot of them have lied and done all this shit, and they just don't give a shit. A lot of them have planted drugs on people. A lot of them do shit that is bullshit. So, they're a corrupt institution, and they always will be a corrupt institution because the government has a monopoly on force when it comes to policing. And when you have a monopoly, any type of monopoly, it gets corrupt because there isn't the free market. There isn't alternative things that you could choose, like competition, to get these people in line. Because if there isn't that mechanism of competition to get people to regulate themselves to do better, then they won't do better. They'll never regulate themselves. This is why I'm against government and massive government, because the more they have a monopoly on things, the less incentive they have to regulate themselves, to improve themselves. Like in the stream I showed yesterday, there's all these government workers caught in Winnipeg going and sitting in Starbucks, going to the gym on company time. They're getting paid $60, $70 an hour to go and shop at Costco, to go do all of this shit. And that's just the inherent corruption. And that's just minor corruption, right? Like just people taking advantage of the system. That is just the inherent corruption that you're going to get in a government because they don't have competition. There's nobody that can replace these people that are doing all this. And people were complaining that they weren't giving them contracts, and they were dicking them around and taking a really long time to get back to them. Yeah, because they don't give a shit. They don't have to give a shit because there isn't a competitor that is going to take their market away from them. So they don't have to worry. They're like, well, we can be lazy. We can do this. We can get back to them in 2 weeks because they have to work with us. There's nobody else to work with us. And this should just be kind of basic common sense for people that, want to believe that the government is going to work. And, you got to give, you got to add some type of competitive aspect to it. And without that, it's just going to get worse and worse. Did you see the police union asking for the resignation of Fox? Who is Fox? And no, I have not seen that. But, fuck the police, man. Fuck the police. They're corrupt. They're terrible people. A lot of the times, if you want to look at people who beat their wives, it's the police. They have the highest rate of beating their wives, and they get away with murder a lot of the times. And people, they're jingoistic when it comes to the police and the sometimes some people in the military or whatever, and they're like, oh, respect the police. The police, without the police, you would be killed and you'd be raped by a pack of natives or something, right? Without the police, you'd be this. Without the police, you'd be that. It's like, no, the police enforce the laws that don't allow me to carry a gun to protect myself. So then you got that little Asian kid and the Filipino kid in Canada here in Winnipeg that had his door busted open down by a meth addict. And if that kid had a gun, had a right to have a gun in his house, or his grandma had a gun, she could have came and got her gun from her shelf and walked over to help her grandson and shot that fucking guy in the back of the fucking head like he deserved. But that didn't happen because we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to protect ourselves a lot of the time. So it's like, give people that right, and you will see crime go down. You will see the scum being taken off of the streets. You get these pedophiles that they put into our communities, and they say like, oh, they don't even tell us exactly. They're like, by the way, there's going to be a pedophile running loose in your community. Well, I'd feel a lot safer if everybody was able to own guns, and then they could keep an eye on that fucking guy. And I feel a lot better if we had the right to discriminate, right? Okay, put him in this area, but guess what? Nobody in this community is going to sell to this guy in our shops. We all know his face. He comes into the grocery store to buy groceries. Say, no, go away. You can't buy food here. Sorry. Oh, but that's against his rights. I have a right of freedom of association, and that right supersedes your right to come and ask me to buy shit. Go, if you don't like it, go to a community that accepts it. And if you don't like it, maybe you shouldn't have raped that little fucking kid, right? So, I feel no sympathy for some of these people. They want me to feel sympathy. Oh, but what are they? You think I care about a pedophile? He can rot in a ditch and starve to death. I'll fucking spit on his corpse as he's has his hand out to me. He'll give me food. I'll kick his hand away and I'll spit in his face and I'll say, eat my fucking spit and die, right? I have no sympathy for pedophiles. These people need to be completely, I'll probably get removed from YouTube if I go even more on my opinion when it comes to these people, but they need to be wiped out. Oh, fuck. See, I got to edit that. I never said that in a video game. In a video game. That's what I meant to say. But Canadian, I'm well aware, blah, blah, but yeah, it's despicable, and the cops don't do anything. I don't like the cops a lot of the times. I don't think they're great. They're good. And, fuck them. But, what is there a news story here? I got a different one. Yeah, this is just a Twitter account somebody was bitching about. But yeah, I just don't like the sympathy also that these people are giving these hunters or these poachers. It all has to do with race too, man. It's just, white people, you can't get away with doing shit anymore. We got to understand that we are more scrutinized than anybody else. And, we can't get away with stuff that other people can get away with. And how people would go in back in the day and teach their black kids, during Jim Crow and all this other stuff, and say hey, you're going to grow up and people are not going to like you, and people are going to say these mean things about you. They're going to discriminate against you. And, they would say this to prepare their kids for what they're going to encounter, right, when they entered the real world, right? And at that point in time, it was barely true. There was a lot of discrimination, racism, people fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And, I have a nuanced opinion about civil rights and whether it's good. I think people have a right of association to discriminate. But these people, the parents, they taught their kids, hey, you're going to encounter this shit. So this is what we have to do now to our kids, to white kids. We have to say, hey, you're going to grow up in a world where people are going to blame you for everything. You're going to be told you're horrible, you're scum. You're going to be laughed at when you talk about things that affect you. You're not going to be given sympathy. They're not going to care. So don't be surprised when they laugh in your face. Don't be surprised when all this stuff happens and people say, good, you get it, colonizer. This is what you deserve, colonizer. So understand that. Teach your kids. Say, hey, this is the world you're going to be fucking entering. And don't be a victim. You're not a victim. But just say, hey, don't be surprised when you hear from your teacher that, your culture, your people are bad and evil and horrible and responsible for all the ills in the world, etc. Because this is what, it's good to inoculate people against this stuff before they encounter it, so it's not a shock. It's like Stoicism. If you ever read Stoicism, it's pretty much, it makes you think about things before they happen a lot of the time, so then you're not as bothered by them when they do happen, and you don't have an emotional reaction to it, which then, when you have emotional reaction to something, you often do bad things. You lash out, you attack, you say things you don't mean, blah, 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 blah. So it's always good to be able to control your emotions. So, you tell your kids these things, so then they're not shocked when they hear from your teacher, from this, from that something horrible about themselves. They'll just be like, oh, okay, I expected you to say that, right? I saw this one show, and it was talking about Stoicism. The guy, he was talking about traffic, and he's like, imagine people who get really mad at traffic whenever they're in traffic, and whenever somebody cuts them off, they fuck, shit, man, they get really pissed off, right? And a way to mitigate that, mitigate your anger, your shifts of emotion, is to think, hey, somebody's going to cut me off today in traffic. Somebody is going to say something mean to me possibly today. And this is how I'm going to address it. This is how I'm going to, you know, and then when it does happen, you're like, yeah, I knew it. I knew somebody was going to say this. And you don't have that massive emotional reaction to it. You know, and it also is what originated that Christian thing where, you know, focus on the things you can change and not the things you can't. You know, I can't remember the Christian prayer, but I used to know that Christian prayer where it was like, change the things you can and focus on the things you can't, the Lord, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, it is good to prepare your kids for the amount of anti-white racism that they are going to be encountering in the future, because that is why you get these cucks and stuff in school that come out of school and they believe everything their teacher taught them because their parents didn't inoculate them before they entered the school. And I don't really, what do you call it, condemn the parents for necessarily doing that, because they didn't necessarily know that their kids were going to be completely indoctrinated in these universities, or I mean in elementary school and all this other shit. So it's good to teach your kids young what they're going to be experiencing in this anti-white fucking racist world that we're entering, where the only people you can be racist to are white people. The only people you can make fun of are white people. Yes, that's the quote. God, grant me the courage to change what I can, the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change, the wisdom to know the difference, and so close. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was actually, my mom was in alcohol, like, you know, in AA and shit. And I had to go, and she like, brought me to the meetings and shit. So I had to listen to like a bunch of these, you know, people who were ex-alcoholics, you know, repeat that fucking quote. And you're like, you know, God grant me, but it's a true thing. And it's actually originates from Stoics, from the Stoics. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe they just had the same thought, right? But they also said the same thing, right? And I believe that. And it's really important, because you really gotta, in order to not let life destroy you. You know, when I lost my brother, right, that's what I used to help me get over it, because I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in anything like that, right? So in order to get over things or accept things, that really helped me, right? Accept the things you cannot change, have the courage to change the things you can. And, you know, like, it's good to not focus on what is impossible for you to change in life, because you'll just get yourself in a corner. You'll get anxious. You know, it's just not good, right? But if you just focus on what you can change, what you can achieve, what you can do to make a difference, then it's a lot better. Then you actually can do something, and you're not in this state of depression or whatnot. You know, you start to move on with life, and that's a better way of looking at things instead of dwelling on the past. You know, I never dwell on the past. Always move forward. It's never good to dwell on anything, right? That doesn't help you with anything. It doesn't achieve anything. You're just thinking and getting more angry and bitter, and you're like, just fucking get over it. Move on. This is why I really don't like this victim mentality that they give to Aboriginals, to Black people, to minorities, and it's all cultural Marxism, you know, to try to stir up this class division among people. But it just keeps you in this bitter state of focusing on the past and what happened in the past. And it's good to acknowledge what happened in the past. I don't think we should erase it, you know, and say, like, you know, if there's a genocide that happened, like, to the Armenians, and be like, it's the past. We don't need to acknowledge it, right? You know, no. We should acknowledge things that did happen. Acknowledge slavery, acknowledge what we did to Aboriginals and stuff, but there's no point to blame the people today that had literally nothing to do with it. You know, why blame the sons for the sins of the father? I don't blame the fucking Turks today for killing all those Armenians. I don't blame the Russians today for killing all of those Ukrainians in the Holodomor and the Russian Jews and shit, right? I don't blame all these people. I don't blame, get over it, move on, right? But nobody wants to do that. They want to focus on the past because it's beneficial to them. It keeps them anger, keeps them divided, and divide and conquer is how you control people. That is the best way to control people. Like when people owned slaves back in the day, what they would do is they get a bunch of slaves from different tribes and put them together, because they wouldn't have one tribe together, because they would know the same language. They would have a common history. They would more likely group up and try to revolt. So you mix all of these different groups together, you mix all of the different tribes together, and it becomes a lot harder to organize against the slave master. So they're just applying the same thing on a country scale to us. Now, it's a lot harder for us, to white people, to organize against the government when you got a lot of different cultures and groups and all these different people with different languages, different histories, all these different, and wanting different things. And there's no unity. And because there's no unity, then these people have more control, more power over us. So, that's why it's good to have more of a homogenous nation. I'm not against any type of diversity. I'm not against people living in my country per se, or some diversity, but it becomes a problem. It does become a problem. We all have to acknowledge that and have a conversation about what diversity does to a country and how it divides a country. Like, we can look at examples all over the world of how the Balkans, the Balkan Wars, you look at India and the separation with Pakistan, and it all has to do with, less to do necessarily with ethnic differences, more to do with religious differences. But people will always group up and divide each other through differences because, Islam and Christianity don't mix. Islam doesn't mix with a lot of fucking things, really. And the only people that are secular and allow different religions to thrive in their countries oftentimes are Christians. And it's not the same way around with Muslims, right? Muslims, you don't see a lot of Christian churches in Muslim countries. But, we're always the ones that are expected to diversify our countries. We're the ones that are expected to change everything, but nobody else in their country is. So let me check out the chat here. Hey, Jon Snow, how's it going, buddy? Long time no see. Help me fill in the blanks. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I can. Oh, yeah. The serenity to accept the thing. I don't remember. Chrétien disbanded the entire airborne regiment over clashes with Somali thieves. You know what? I was reading today about China, and I found this propaganda thing pretty much just talking about early China and whatnot. But I was talking about in Canada, and Sir John A. Macdonald was one of the first guys that said, like, oh no, let's just bring in the Chinese. Like, Sir John A. Macdonald insisted the project cut costs by employing Chinese worker to build the railroad or the railway. So there's a part of the railway where, they were pushing to bring all these cheap Chinese people over. And this is like the first example of us being replaced by Chinese. And they even say in the article, like, or the wiki and whatnot, that people were mad because they were going to take their jobs because they were getting paid less than the European workers. But then they just kept increasing the amount of Chinese just to build one part of the railroad. And it wasn't all parts of the railroad. People think like they built all of our railroads. It was just the Trans-Pacific one or the Pacific one. I can't remember. And yeah, it's pretty funny what like we used to do in Canada, right, back in the day with, and I really wish we still had these laws with the Chinese and other people. He told the parliament in 1882, it is simply a question of alternatives. Either you must have this labor or you can't have the railway. So once again, big government importing Asians in 1882 because to build a project. where they could have just, brought in Canadians and done it. British Columbia politicians had wanted a settlement immigration plan for workers from the British Isles, but Canadian politicians and investors said it would be too expensive. When most of these deserted the railway workings for more lucrative gold fields, I just saved a few things there, but yeah, I was just looking at the Chinese railway thing, and one thing that the Canadian government was pushing, and it was about the history of China, and it was like, oh, white workers got paid more than Chinese workers. But then if you actually look up the history of it, yeah, they did. But it also Native American and black workers got. But the article that was promoted to kids from the Canadian government from their website conveniently left that part out just to make it seem like, oh, bad white people took advantage of the Chinese and they didn't give them citizenship right away, and they were saying mean things, and they were saying they were going to replace them. Well, it's true. They all went. It got. Now look at Vancouver. Now look at Richmond. It's completely taken over. These races that were being mean races back in the day were completely right. We're completely right. Like, I gotta find this. Like, what is it? Chinese Railroad Canada. Yeah, this is what it was. Like, archive. And it was like, I was like, what the fuck? This is a Canadian website, and it's like promoting, just promoting more. What do you call it? Kind of like a victim mentality, and it's like this is supposed to be promoted for schools to use as well. They're like, there are stories of Buddhist monks, and this is what really gets me. Okay, I got to show this because they're trying to say Buddhist monks were the first ones here, fucking how many years ago? And I was like, this is bullshit. But here, there are stories of a Buddhist monk who landed on Western shores, and this is disproven, by the way. This is fake news. Western shores of the continent around 400 BC. This might have been the first Chinese person to come to what is known as North America. So it was the Chinese who discovered America. There was also a group of Chinese carpenters who sailed with Captain John Myers in 1778 in search of the furs. Yeah, I read this up too, and they left to America for the California gold rush for more money. And then they left, who landed on what is now called Vancouver Island. We don't know for sure whether any of these men stayed. No, they left. But this is the kids' site for Canadian settlement. Library, archive. This is the Canadian government fucking site. And they're pushing this fake news. So actually, the Asians have been here just as long. So this means we need them to replace us. California gold rush, blah, blah, blah. When the gold ran out, many of these men headed north to 1855 to find a gold that was being reported in Fraser Valley. Most of these men came from the southern part of China. The population of China had increased and had not enough food could be grown to feed everyone. Many people were without jobs or were hungry and poor. Many decided that going to British Columbia would give their families a better life. So yeah, that's the thing too. People don't understand. They're like, oh, they're treating us so bad in Canada. But guess what? It was a lot better than they had. They would have starved to death in China. So them not being able to get citizenship and all that crap wasn't a bad thing. But then they just go on and they're like, blah, blah, blah. Many Chinese men went to work in gold mines, yada, yada. I was looking this up. It was stupid. But where's the one thing? Building Canadian Pacific Railway. So they only built a portion of it. But the Chinese workers worked for $1 a day. And from this $1 a day, they still had to pay for their food and camping and cooking gear. White workers did not have to pay for these things, even though they were paid more money. $150 to $250 per day, as well as being paid less. Chinese workers were given the most backbreaking and dangerous work to do. They cleared, degraded the railway roadbed. They blasted tunnels around the rock. They were accident, fires, and disasters, landslides. And honestly, like I said, I read this up on Wiki and stuff and looked more on this, and lots of non-Chinese and all these people were also killed in all these stuff too. But once again, this said only white workers were paid more, but it was Native Americans and blacks were paid more. But they just left it out. And this is what the little kids, and this is supposed to be used. Look at, this is supposed to be used This website is designed for children in grades 4 to 6. The settlement theme has curriculum ties into history, national identity, human rights, culture, multiculturalism, language, arts, and geography. Educational resources complement the site, including a full teaching unit with the evaluation rubric. So they're teaching like this type of shit in school. Finding work, blah, blah, you know, and then here's some racist thing. Warning, the Chinese are beginning to encroach upon property in Port Moody. This is an old clip, which should be kept free from them. If they obtain a foothold in the central part of the city, that neighborhood will be rendered uninhabitable for white people. The property will decrease in value. Necessity compels us to tolerate a few Mongolians in the community, but let them herd by themselves and not attempt to mix with the whites. There is no affinity between the two races, nor ever can be. In spite of all this, is preached about universal brotherhood of man. So yeah, he was right. He was right. He was right. Nothing he said was pretty much wrong. You know, it's uninhabitable now. These places by whites. It's true. They left. They ran. They're no longer there. The two cultures do not mingle. They haven't assimilated. That's true. So, you know, and then we caved. We caved. Some Canadians thought the Chinese would take jobs away from others. Yeah, it was true. They did. Others had wrong or exaggerated ideas about the way the Chinese lived. They were accused of being dirty and disease carriers because of their crowded living conditions. Chinese workers were paid less than white workers because many people, and Black and Native Americans, but exclude that, you fuckers. People believe that the Chinese need less to live on. That's true, they did, right? Because they're like, they only need like fish and rice. They thought that the Chinese workers content to live with less would settle for food of lack variety and quality. Well, you know, I don't know what they didn't know as much back then, but nonetheless, you know, this is just the earliest examples of them bringing in foreign workers to fucking replace us. And this is by, you know, Sir John A. McDonald. I look up, like, so I saved this from before. Sir John A. McDonald insists the project cut costs, and you know, he said a bunch of other stupid shit. But what is this? Another old clip. On the train last night from Skagway were among the passengers 5 Chinamen from Victoria. The news was in short time circulated around the country, around the town, and a great deal of indignation expressed over their arrival. When questioned as to their intention, they said they were going below 5 Fingers to work on some unknown creek at a placer mining. But further questions elicited the information that Whitehorse was their objective point and that they expected to get employment here as cooks in laundry work, etc. So yeah, they lied, but where they were going. Earlier this morning, a committee of citizens waited on them and told them that they were not wanted in Yukon territory. See, this is when people, you know, it was after World War II that I was reading, I think it was today too, it was after World War II where we started to make multiculturalism the law of the land in Canada, right? So before all this committees would be like, no, we don't want you people here, Yukon, and they had better make arrangements to return from whence they came. And see, they're probably polite too, like, okay, you know, sorry, Chinaman, you gotta go. You must return from whence you cannot be here. They then stated that they wished to go to Dawson, but the committee refused to listen to such a proposition and told them that they would have to leave on the freight train for Skagway in an hour's time, to which they agreed. 1902, Whitehorse. That's hilarious, man. That's funny. You know, that's what we should have fucking done. You know, that's what we should have kept doing. While Europeans were offered free land to come to Canada, no, it wasn't free land. They had to work it. If they didn't work it and produce something, they were sent. And why would Europeans give free land to Chinese people? They didn't found the country. Why would it be like, oh, hey, Chinese people, do you want to free? No. What the fuck, you idiot. Does China let us even buy homes in China right now? Can we buy homes in China? No, we can't. We can't do anything there. So fuck them. They don't, of course we wouldn't let them buy shit. Like, Jesus Christ. Of course we wouldn't offer them land. They didn't settle it. My ancestors worked in an overturned cart and made the land up, built the land up. And if they didn't, they would have been sent back to France. So they didn't, it wasn't like just for free. And then they had a head tax for Chinese people, right? This meant that Chinese person wanted to come to Canada had to pay $50 to the government, which was a lot of money back then. This made it harder for Chinese workers to come to Canada. Yeah, that's what we should do now, even more. And for those already here to bring their wives and children over from China. Yeah, it was a lonely life for the men living many years from their wives and families. Yeah, so lonely. Go back to your country then and make it better. Many never saw their families again because I don't care. I don't care. You chose to left. You weren't slaves. None of these people were slaves. None of them were slaves. They all willingly left China. All of them. So go back to China and eat rats and rice. That's what I have to say. I don't care. I don't care. And 19 people felt that there were still too many Chinese people coming to Canada. So the head tax increased to 100. It went to 500 in 1903. See, they knew. People back in the day were woke. They weren't brainwashed. They knew what the fuck this Chinese invasion was going to mean. And all these people that lived back in the day, if they were to see Vancouver now, these people are all turning over in their graves. They're like, man, you know how hard we worked to keep this country for you guys? And you guys just gave it away? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. The Chinese were the only group of people from another country that had to pay a tax in order to enter the country. Okay, because all the people were coming from Europe. Why would we bring in Chinese people to replace us? Of course we're going to charge them more. You're lucky. You're lucky we even allowed you to come in. You're lucky. Jesus Christ. For the next 24 years, anyone Chinese was not allowed to come to Canada. It even stopped families in China from coming to live. Like, good. Good. That's all I have to say. Good. We should keep doing that. We should keep doing this. I'm sick of this. Hey, Jesus, saying quick hello. Hey, T Nova. Hey, the one. Hey, buddy. Okay, sorry, I haven't looked at the chat for a little while. Let me go up here. I missed probably a lot of stuff. If somebody sent me a super chat, if I missed it, just put it below. Because, like I said, I haven't looked at it in a long time, so I don't want to accidentally miss any of those and think like I was ignoring you, because I've done that before. And people are like, why did you address? I'm like, I didn't mean to ignore it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Fuck that. I'm not anti-cop, and wait till we have any blacks in our violence. Yeah, I'm anti-cop. I'm anti-cop. They take too long to get to your house. Too long. Without the police, we could have sheriffs and militias. That's true. Yeah, fuck the RCMP. You know what? The RCMP, you know what they did? They refused to... America, the DEA, was trying to bring information about the money laundering that was going on in China 10 years ago, but the RCMP in Canada refused to go and look at it. Refused. So let me see. What was this? Colombia, Lebanon. What's the article called? And Lebanon and Toronto, I think it was called. From Colombia to Lebanon to Toronto. How the DEA warned the Canadian police. Okay, so here I'll share this with you guys again. But look at what the police do here. So from Colombia to Lebanon to Toronto, how the DEA probe uncovered Hezbollah's Canadian money laundering ops. So blah, 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 money laundering. In January 2008, a team of U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration agents traveled to Ottawa to meet the RCMP leaders. They had stunning news. The DEA said an elite group of military East narco-terrorists in Colombia was using Canada as a key laundering hub. Blah, blah, blah. Former narcos. We were giving the RCMP dirty calls to phone numbers and identified targets in Canada, former officials said. In our minds, that should have been enough to, begin interceptions. But the RCMP leaders didn't want to pursue the cases. According to the former official, he said that the RCMP cited differences between Canadians and U.S. court disclosure rules. The question about the DEA's use of confidential sources. The U.S. source believes the RCMP missed an early opportunity to fight the incursion of sophisticated professional money laundering networks with ties to China, the Middle East, Colombia, Mexico, that are now plaguing Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal. We were dumbfounded, the U.S. source said. But by 2014, police officials in Canada finally agreed the DEA agents tapping phones in the hills of Colombia had been right all along. So they were right all along. A resurgence offsuit of Pablo Escobar's notorious cartel, now called LA Aficionado, was doing business with terrorists, numerous other cartels. So they're doing business with Hezbollah. And services from elite businesses with wings of Hezbollah, the Islamist party, organized in Lebanon. The so-called business affairs component was tasked with funneling its cuts billions in drug smuggling and professional money laundering proceeds directly into Hezbollah's military objectives. According to DEA, Colombian prosecutors, criminals, Hong Kong, blah, blah, blah. But Hezbollah wasn't just interested in drug trafficking in order to fund guns and bombs. According to the DEA affidavit, they also realized the military benefits of making connections with global drug traffickers. It's a view that some Canadian military and financial intelligence experts confirmed in background interviews. Hezbollah assessed that this new business was damaging or weakening their enemies, both in the form of drug addiction and in terms of societal and economic costs associated with combating trafficking and addiction. The affidavit filed September 16th in Miami's U.S. district. So, all this opioid addictions that we've been having, this is funded. This is by Hezbollah, by terrorists, being allowed by the RCMP, who is probably paid off by Chinese officials, which I think it was even this article where somebody from 2010 was saying that, we have all these Chinese spies in our fucking higher up in politics. But yeah, the DEA, these people, they sat on this info. You guys can check out this article yourself. But you know what? We would be better off at this point policing ourselves. I think we'd probably be safer policing ourselves. Had a press conference asking Cook County Attorney General to step down because Smollett debacle, among other things, is interesting. Yeah, that Smollett debacle, that's fucked up. Sad but true, Jay. I'm on it. My son learns from the best. Okay, yeah, I was way up there in the chat here. I missed a bunch. China helps the screw of SA. Imagine my shock. Big earthquake. I never heard of Alberta Fish. The Chinese don't even hate us. They are totally indifferent to us. They don't give a shit. Well, yeah, the Chinese people. I have nothing against Chinese people. But I don't want them taking over my country, which they're doing. You know what? A lot of these people taking over Canada, none of them really hate us. A lot of people don't hate us, and I don't hate them. But if we keep allowing this, we're going to be a minority in our own country, and that's not a good thing. Yeah, we will have to. Yeah, it's better to be carried by or judged by, I don't know, what's the quote, 12 than carried by 6 or something like that. Yeah, I'd rather be judged by people than be killed. So we will have to take care of ourselves. Whatever, I don't care. The cops are corrupt. Saint, man, they're corrupt. They're corrupt. Cops all over the country are corrupt. Not every cop. Maybe you're related to some cops or something. I can understand that, but I think they're all good. There's some good ones. Don't get me wrong, but why are the police corrupt? Because we have the government, and they have a monopoly on force. So we're always you don't even know the tip of the iceberg about, or you do, about all the corruption that the police get away with. all of the things, you know how many like times that cops get pulled over for drunk driving by all their cop buddies and get let off the hook, you know, or, oh, hey, just stop beating your wife, you know, guy, hey, we're not going to charge you, but, you know, hey, stop beating her, man. You know, it's you know, I have a lot of issues with the police, but doesn't mean I think they're all bad. And a lot of people, well, without the police, you'd be this, you'd be this. Well, like I said, once again, if it wasn't for the police, you wouldn't have we would have more rights. We would have more rights, because who is the one that takes you away and brings you to the prison when you don't pay your taxes? Is it a bunch of citizens that group up around your house, or a bunch of private citizens that say with pitchforks, pay your taxes, we're going to bring you to jail? No. It's the police that go and say, oh, okay, we're going to do this. And the police don't always have to enforce some of the laws. They can just say no, but a lot of them will do it anyways, because, you know, they're just tax collectors. Most police today are tax collectors for the state, where they're like, oh, he's speeding. He was speeding here. Okay, here's a ticket. Here's a quota. I got to give out this many tickets a day. Oh, we need to make money for the city. You know, in Winnipeg here there's a massive scandal over the police headquarters because it was, I don't know, like $200 million over budget. No accountability still. Nobody knows who did it. Nobody knows anything. And that's the way it works. That's the thing, you know. They're corrupt, you know. And yeah, they're making it worse. Now they're lowering the qualifications. They're bringing, like Saint says, Muslims and women and criminals into the force, and it's going to be even worse than it was before. Like, maybe, like, I think that when it first got started, it probably was good. It was working for the people, and like 30, 40 years ago, it was probably decent, right? And it was more, people had a connection to their community, right? But nobody has a connection to their community anymore. You know, if you get police officers from this place to police an area that they've never lived in before, because that's what we do in Canada too. If you become a police officer, we'll like move you around to different places and be like, oh, go live in this community, right? Whereas you want people to police the communities that they live in, so then they have a connection to the people. And I'm not all against police per se. I'm not against hiring a force of police and having people that are you know, carry guns and police things and stuff. I'm not against that. But the way it's become nowadays is, like I said, they don't have a connection to the community anymore. And, you know, you're getting these foreigners in cops and all this stuff, and they don't care that, you know, this or that happens. Like, and there's way too many laws, way too many rules. And now, like I said, they're now more like tax collectors instead of people who enforce the law and people who help make a difference. They're just like, hey, you know, you know, went to 5-10 miles over the speed limit. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't enforce driving limits and stuff, especially in school zones and whatnot. But, you know, sometimes it just feels like they're there just to make money for the government. Right. And that's the thing. It's really hard for good cops to do anything about the bad cops, which is true, because I've heard lots of people. I know this one guy who is a cop and in America, and if he were to say stuff and be open about some stuff, they would put him in danger, and potentially, like, you know, have like a we accidentally friendly fire. You know, that stuff happens. Friendly fire, or put them in an undercover thing, and the cops accidentally shoot them. Oh, we thought you were this. Oh, we thought you were. Have you ever seen that movie, Serpico? Like, that was like a true story, right? I'm pretty sure, like, Serpico and whatnot, like that stuff is true. Like, a lot of the type of corruption does exist, and it's hard to regulate it when you have the government, which is control of it. You know, we could still have police without a government. We could still have these types of things and just add some more competition to it. And people think, oh, there's going to be police forces that are going and subjugating communities with their military and shit. You're like, man, that stuff, that already fucking happens anyways. And that wouldn't happen. Right-wing extremists and farthest right you've ever talked to. Explain how right-wing was libertarian. Knows who the lefty thugs are. He's been attacked or has venues shut down enough to know. I'm part of the police family. I don't talk to that side. There's a reason why. Right. And like I said, like I'm not against all police, and I don't think like all police are bad and whatever, but they're very, they can be, some people can be very, you know, statist, right? And they let the police off with a lot of shit. And they're like, well, you know, whatever, you know, there's a lot of idiots and he was having a hard day, and without the police, you'd be nothing. You need us. You need us. Hey, Zeus. Oh, yeah, he does need a rinse. Is somebody blocking you or what? Somebody shutting you down, Hey, Zeus? Here, let's go to a couple more stories. I think a couple last ones here. This one's pretty good. I thought this priest, this Vatican priest, was pretty cool. So this is from Mystic Post. I don't know. Vatican cardinal warns that the West will disappear. So this black guy, Vatican cardinal reports Robert Serra warns that the West will disappear as a result of mass migration, adding that Islam will invade the world and completely change culture, anthropology, and moral vision. That's true. They're gonna like blow up all of our like artifacts and destroy all of our history and replace it with their own. That's what the Muslims do. They go, and instead of Christians who go and white people and Europeans who go and like uncover all these people's histories to preserve it and in museums and to give them a history again and to be like, hey, guess we uncovered all this stuff through archaeology. And they're like, nah, fuck you.
What is the new?
Holy crap. That was really fucking loud. What the fuck was that? I don't know what that was, but it like hurt my ears drastically. Holy shit. Okay. As a result of mass immigration, Islam will invade the world and completely change culture. Yeah, so he's got a new book. Draws near and the day is nearly over is causing controversy in Europe. Well, buy this man's book. See, based black man, if the West continues in this fatal way, there is a great risk due to the lack of birth, it will disappear, invaded by foreigners, just as Rome has been invaded by barbarians. See, it's true. We need to look at Rome and what happened, because a lot of what happened in Rome near its fall and its demise is exactly what's happening right now. You know, they overexpanded. They got a bunch of barbarians into their army, and these barbarians were not, you know, they didn't give a fuck about Rome, and then they sacked it. And this is what's happening to us in our countries. We're letting a bunch of invaders come in, and then we're putting them in our police, in our armies, and then they're going to sack the fucking country. My country is predominantly Muslim. I think I know what reality I'm talking about, right? This guy knows. He knows. The cardinal also blamed the European Union for its desire to globalize the world, ridding its nations. This guy needs to be the Pope. This guy needs to be the Pope. I'm for this guy being the Pope. Fuck the current Pope. Robert needs to be the Pope of the Catholic fucking religion. Desire to globalize the world, ridding it of nations with their distinctive characteristics, labeling the move sheer madness. The Brussels Commission thinks only about building a free market in the service of great financial powers. He continued, the European Union no longer protects the peoples within it. It protects the banks. Guy's base, man. In a previous video interview, Sarah warned that Europe has lost its roots and was dying because of fewer European natives having children. We feel you worried about yeah, see, thank you, man. See, there are people from different races, different cultures that know, that see what's happening, that care, that want to help us, that have sympathy. And that's good. That's good. So even this guy, I didn't even read this guy. If this guy becomes the next pope, I'm going full track Catholic. That's true, man. This guy comes, I'm going to go back to my roots. I'm going to renounce atheism and I'm going to become a Catholic again. And I'm going to be like, just man, like promoting the shit out of this fucking pope. In recent interviews, it has gone even further, noting the priests, bishops, and cardinals within the Catholic Church have betrayed the teachings of Christ by pursuing political activism. Guy's awesome. Sarah's comments put him at odds with the Pope, who has relentlessly promoted migration from African and Middle Eastern countries into Europe. See this guy? This guy's African, and he's like, I don't want to see the white people disappear. I don't want to see their culture disappear. See, it's not a racist thing to say. It's just true. According to the cardinal, it is wrong to use the word of God to promote migration. It is better to help people flourish in their culture than to encourage them to come to Europe. Yes, Sarah slammed mass migration as a new form of slavery because migrants end up without work or dignity. Is that what the church wants, he asked. Sarah remained hopeful, the situation being reversed, asserting, this is not the end of the world. The church will rise. Great. This guy's fucking awesome. That's great. You know, I 100% support this guy. This guy is amazing. You know, he needs to be the new pope. He needs to be the new pope, and we need to stand behind him because the current pope is garbage. He's the worst piece of shit that we've ever had in our country. Or, I mean, he's the worst pope. Worst pope. You've been hacked, AJ. I wasn't hacked, Claude. What are you talking about? Indians, bro, they're taking over, not Chinese. Yeah, Indians are taking over. That's true. They're all Asians, man. They're all Asian. Same thing. Different pile. It may come to that, AJ. Policing our... Oh, sorry. Read up. We're trying to get more colored Muslims. That's all government programs. They overspend and unaccountable. I agree with you, the one. Well, slavery was the top of color. Did he think Jordan is right? Police admit that there are some bad and very bad cops when they do nothing about it. And they're bad, very bad cops to corruption. Yeah, there are a lot of bad ones. There, like I said, there's still good ones. But Jesus needs a wrench. Okay, I've read all this. Have you heard about the case of Don Dunphy and his death on the East Coast? No, I have not heard about that case. AJ is into that ANCAP shit, so it clouds his vision. No, it doesn't cloud my vision. You're clouded. Your vision is clouded because you have a bias for some reason to cops, probably because maybe you're related to one, or you have some weird, emotional connection to them. But I don't have an emotional connection to police and Canada and all this other shit. I believe in freedom, and I believe in the free market, and I know what works, and I know the government doesn't work. And anybody who tells me that, oh, but it'll work this time, don't worry, we'll make sure they're not corrupt this time, and don't take advantage of our work. No. I know what works, and I know that privatizing the police and giving more power to individuals would make it better for everybody. The monopoly on force is what makes police corrupt. It's because they have a monopoly on force. Like, you're always going to get corrupt police when you have a monopoly on force. You're always going to get that. It's always going to happen. But yeah, I'm just, I'm not going to take that bullshit. Disabled workers has his personal information shared with the Prime Minister's security detail. At their request, he was visited by a plainclothes officer in an unmarked vehicle. Disabled worker had his personal information shared with the Prime Minister's security detail at their request. He was visited in plainclothes officers in an unmarked vehicle. What the fuck? What? When was this? Plume has been defending me from the ones who call me racist and all the other bad words I can't say on here. Oh, well, no, Julie Mora is a racist. That we know. Hey, Zeus, my channel is the only one video every 6 months, but I do hang out defending our own in the comment section, like my Trudeau videos. Well, thank you for defending us, but yeah, you know, oh, it was years ago. Yeah, get the article. That's kind of interesting. If anybody's got any other topics you want to bring up, think of. But it's a pattern I'm seeing all over the West to turn us against cops. And no, it's not a pattern. It's not a pattern. I've been against the cops. Trust me, I've dealt with the cops. I've dealt specifically with the cops. My brother has dealt specifically with the cops. He's went to jail. I trust me, I know the cops. They're scum. A lot of them are scum. They're fuckers, and fuck the police, man. Honestly, they're one of the reasons. You know what? They were fighting to get like I forget what was it. Their unions were fighting to get any type of scrutiny on police a little while ago when it came to I don't know, something like DNA test or whatever, and they're like, no, it's we don't want to be scrutinized like we scrutinize the public. Oh, we don't want to have to do drug testing. We don't want to have to do drug testing because we're the police, and that's unfair to ask us to do that. But we're gonna, crack down on weed. Think of all the people that the cops put away for weed. They could have just said, no, we're not going to put people away for this crime. But they did it. They did it anyways. And you know what? The worst people are the ones who go and become police officers, because it's the ones who often want to exert power over other people. So they're like, they go in there and they're like, they push people around. I'm a cop. Listen to me. You shut up. You respect me. Respect my authority. Respect me. I have power over you. I'll beat you with my stick. And they go, look what the police are doing to the French protesters in France right now. Should we applaud them for that? Good job for shooting and blinding these French people with rubber bullets. Good job. Good job. Good job with the Charlottesville and allowing people to go and kill each other and make it all work. Good job. Good job. Good job. Fuck the police, and it's not, there's no, what? Black people have a lot of reason not to like the police. You know how badly the police do treat fucking black people and shit? You know how many black people have been framed by the police in America? It's ridiculous. It's insane, the amount of people. Like, they were giving tickets to people in Detroit and sending them to prison because they didn't cut their grass. And all these black people in Detroit they're getting criminal records because they didn't have their grass cut. And so many, I forget, the prisoners, Chicago police have to pay reparations to black people because they were torturing them for like all these years and shit. It's like, they're horrible. They're horrible. The police are horrible, and your eyes are closed if you can't see that. You think they're protecting us? We're being replaced as we speak. You know what I mean? They're enforcing the worst laws. I don't care. I'm not going to talk more about the police. You have your opinions. I have my opinions. You can support them, whatever. I don't care. This is just my opinion. Like I keep saying, but people just listen to the things they want to hear. I said not all police are bad. There's some good ones, but nobody's arguing with what I say, which is it's the monopoly that it creates the bad police. If you want to increase good police officers and reduce the amount of corrupt police officers, you privatize the police force. You add more competition. Like that's how you make anything better. People think, well, you can't privatize. Well, we don't want to privatize education because education should just be blah, 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 blah. But then we see kids and how they're educated today. I think we'd all be better off if we had privatized education, and we would already be years and decades into it, to the point that our schools would be so efficient and so cheap that the amount we're paying in property taxes to fund the schools in your local area, it would be cheaper than what you're paying for that a lot of the time. So it's It would be better schools, much better. And same with police forces. If you could fire and you had competition to pick between different companies, then this police force that has a monopoly, because think about how hard it is to fire police officers in the government. Think about how hard it is to fire anybody who works for the government. They all have unions that protect them. A lot of police, a lot of anybody who works for the government has it's teachers. It's practically impossible to fire them. But if you were to put this on the free market, then what would happen is the teachers that do the best would get paid the most money, and the teachers that are shit, that get kept in the schools right now by the unions, would be fired, and they wouldn't be teaching your kids anymore, because there would be an incentive between schools to hire good teachers because they're competing against other schools. Because if you had a private system, right, you have one school that's really bad and one school that's really good. Well, everybody who sends their kids to the bad school, they're going to get bad results, and they're going to stop sending their kids there. So they'll start sending it to the better school, and then there'll be somebody will try to compete with that better school, so they'll offer a price slightly lower, and but they'll have the same quality of schooling, and then that other school will want to compete again, so they'll offer price a little bit lower. And the more competition, the better. And that will decrease the price. And same with policing. If your police officer, your force is taking advantage of your community and is enforcing a lot of bullshit laws that you don't want enforced, then you could fire that police force, get a different one, contract a different one to come in, and they come in, replace them. And then you got, people that are actually working for the community, on behalf of the community. And if they don't perform, they don't do good, then you get rid of them. And plus, not only that, we're assuming that in a more of a free society, we wouldn't all have guns as well. So we would need less police officers, first of all, because we would all be armed. So you would need less people to police, because we'd all be armed. We'd all have police officers. We'd all have weapons. Plus, without the government, there'd be a lot less diversity being imported into our communities. So right there, you would have everybody would be working together more. You wouldn't even need a gun as much, because, we're all homogenous, and there's still going to be violence, but the violence would go down. And, it would just, there's so many different things that we would benefit from that. And like I said, I know some good cops. I know some really good cops that are good and that will risk their life to save you, will put themselves in front of a shooter to save your life. And those people I have utmost respect for, right? I have utmost respect for cops like that, for people. And there are lots of cops like that. They're great people. So don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people go into it because they want to help people, right? A lot of people, not all. Some of them go in there because, like I said, it's like some people join the military. Some people, not all, because they want to shoot people. They want to kill some people legally. That's what they want to do. Let's be honest here. Okay, there's some people that just want to go and kill some people with a gun or shoot somebody in the head overseas and do it legally and not have to be put in jail, right? And the same happens with some police. Some police want to be able to crack some skulls without, getting repercussions for it. They want to be able to go and, kind of like, hey, come over here. Come here and let me talk to you. Let me do this, blah, blah. He was resisting. He was resisting arrest. And I'm not saying they don't. Like, there is a lot of bullshit when it comes to cops, too, and lies in America, right, with the Black Lives Matter. But that's the whole different thing. It's not even a smear on police. That whole Black Lives Matter thing, it's more of a smear on white people as a whole. And they're just kind of using the police to be like, oh, they're targeting us and blah, blah, blah. And yes, they are trying to get people to not like police in the Black community, right? Which is a bad thing to some extent, because the Ferguson effect and the increase in crime, but there are so many other factors that also do increase the crime, and not necessarily just throwing more police will have a temporary beneficial effect, but it's still not going to solve the problem. It's still not going to resolve the root of the problem. I don't know. You really love cops, man. I don't care. I don't care, man. Don't. You're not a cop. Don't take it personally. You know, I'm not attacking you. Cops know they have to take everyone's shit, verbal and physical abuse. Yeah, I'll run to sign up so I can have a gun. Yeah, a lot of people, they'll take the verbal abuse so then they can go back and retaliate legally. A lot of people do that. They tried charging my brother, you know, with some bullshit fucking charges, right? And like, oh, he kicked me, and I'm like, no, he didn't. But whatever. You know, like I said, don't get emotional. Like, who cares? It's fucking police. It's just some people. I'm taking my opinion about the government and how I think it would work better. And I think that if we privatize things, it would be better, and we'd have better police, a better police force. That's my opinion. See Theory of Nightmare on YouTube Poseidon short video. Who's Plant Boy? Am I Plant Boy? Literally don't have the obligation to protect you, especially in America. Yeah, they don't. They don't have the obligation. Us against our police is part of it. No, Saint, you got to understand. I was against the police far before any of the rhetoric to try to get us against the police, right? I have my own reasons. I think I've went over them enough to kind of go over like what I think about why the police force is bad. The problems with, I still haven't changed my opinion about the government. Like, I still think the government is shit, and it leads to corruption because of the monopoly that it has. And it's gonna be really hard for me to ever not think that. Really, really, really difficult, because I keep seeing examples of it each and every day. Each and every day I get proven right, and I'm proven right each and every day. So there's very little that people can say to convince me that it will be better under not under the government, right? You know, Oh, thank you, Julie. I love when AJ talks about the government. And it's like, yeah, like I do not, like I said, I don't hate police. Like I said, Saint. I don't hate police, and I understand. And you're right. You are right. You are right when it comes to people and trying to get turned against the police, right? You are right about that. And but I'm not. That's not my goal. I'm just telling you my opinion, right? And I'm saying what I think would work better, because I apply the same thing to the police as I apply to school, as I apply to like the public schooling system, as I apply to all these things, and they all have the same problems. You know, the public schooling system is corrupt. It's full of corruption, just like the public, police stations are full of corruption, because there's no oversight. They it's hard to lose their jobs. It's really difficult to fire a bad cop or a bad teacher or a bad this or a bad that when they work for the government, when it's not in the free market. And that's, and I know people are really reluctant to put some things on the free market because they think that, it wouldn't be good. They're like, I hear this argument, healthcare shouldn't be for profit. Healthcare shouldn't be for profit. Like, oh my God, you're ignorant, you're ignorant. Healthcare is always for profit. It's in profit right now. You know what they're doing in Canada? You know what they're doing? They're doing this thing in a lot of doctors' offices, because our system isn't completely socialized. Like, it works weirdly, but like the walk-in doctors, a lot of them are putting on their signs, 1 issue per visit. So now you can only bring up 1 issue at a time with doctors. And they're like, patients, they bring up too many things and they're disorganized and they bring me 15 issues and I don't have time for this. And it's because it's run by the government, and they have to quotas, and they have to go have people come through and all this other shit, right? And they actually get charged one per person, right? And there is an influx of people and a shortage of doctors, right? That we have right now, we have massive shortage of doctors, that if you were to lower the qualifications on medicine and allow some people to practice it that don't have like a full degree, think about that. That would open up thousands of doctors. Like, you know, healthcare used to be so cheap that doctors would walk to your home, and doctors would do house calls and go to your house and be like, are you okay? Here's medicine and all this stuff. And granted, things are more complex today. Things are more costly. You know, we got MRIs, we got lots of things that they didn't have back in the day, right? That would increase some costs. But it was the doctors who went to the government to ask for more regulations because they weren't being paid enough. And then the government goes and complies, and then we get all the problems we have today. And then we're like, why is healthcare cost so much? Oh, we don't want to put it on a free market because healthcare is a right, and blah 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 blah. But you don't realize we would have much far better healthcare if it was always done on the market, on the free market, as opposed to the government taking control and setting these certain guidelines, which some of them make sense. You know, you can understand, like, oh, you know, you don't want anybody practicing medicine per se, but a lot of people probably could, and they don't need the same degrees. And like I said, that would alleviate a lot of wait times. So then these doctors don't have to do one person per visit, because they're asking patients to take 15 days off of work so they can go to the doctors. Like, are you kidding me? No, they have to bring up, and you go to America, you can bring up all these issues all you want. You can spend an hour with your doctor talking to them, but this are like, trying to make it under 15 minutes because I got some other patients that I got to see here and blah, blah, blah. But they still allow people to die in the fucking waiting rooms, right? You know, it's frustrating. Ready your implements. Oh, it's 4:15. Oh, no, it's 3:15 for me. 5 years to get a knee replaced. Right. You know, you got to wait. You got to wait so fucking long. It's ridiculous. And, you know, maybe if my brother was put on a lung transplant years earlier, he'd still be alive right now. But no, they're like, oh, you got to wait like a year, you know, and all this shit. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that didn't fucking happen. Hey, Catherine, how's it going? Long time no see, Catherine. Appreciate you coming by. She was one of my earliest subscribers that, you know, donated to me on Patreon, all this stuff. You know, I really appreciate Catherine and all the support that she's given me along the way. And, you know, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I agree, Saint. We should at least have a two-tiered, right? You know, I'm not like drastic, right? I'm all for compromise. I'm all for compromise. And I'm not for completely cutting off socialism immediately for people, because that would be a shock, right? But I'm definitely for starting with a two-tier system and trying to, you know, add as much privatization in it slowly and gradually as possible, because you want a soft landing as opposed to what is coming our way in the future, because we're all under the assumption that this system can continue and that our debt can continue forever, but it can't, right? It can't. It's going to come. Things that are mathematically unable to continue will eventually just, you know, not continue, right? It's not infinity. It will crumble. It will come down. So we got to look ahead. We got to think in the future and try to ease things back as much as possible. So then when things do crash, we're not as left, you know, with our hands in our pockets as we would be, as opposed to, you know, slowly receding the system. Because right now we're so dependent on the government doing so much for us that if it were to crash tomorrow, a lot of us would be pretty fucked. And a lot of us wouldn't have any alternatives in the free market, because it hasn't been developing in the free market, because the government has been doing it for us the whole time. So we haven't had a market that's been growing and evolving this whole time. And that's why I'm against the government taking care of stuff, because, you know, it's like they have a curriculum. Like I said, look at education. school has been in education's school has been in the government's hand for like 100 years, and we literally teach the same that we did almost 100 years ago, except now we got some iPads and stuff, but it's still one teacher in front of a chalkboard in front of 30 students. The thing has stayed the same, but think about other things on a free market that have completely changed and altered because of people thinking of new ways and new strategies. But if you're like, oh, everybody has to follow the curriculum, no diversion from it, we're never going to figure out what works best, what teaches kids the best, how boys learn the best, how girls learn the best. You know, we'll never learn these things if we just keep having the government doing it for us. We'll never learn the best way to police, the most efficient way to police, if we don't have a private system of police officers, of, you know, a private security type thing. And you know what? Private security already facilitates more security than regular police do all over the world. You know, most of the world, the third country and all that, they all have private security. A lot of other places have private security. I was looking at the statistics, and it already makes up for the majority of the policing essentially that's going on around the world, right? And it's often cheaper, it works better, less corrupt. But let's check out the chat here. Hey, Matt, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for dropping by, and thank you again for hooking me up with JF, man. I really appreciate that. EJ, yes, unsustainable system. All right, what up, guys? Jack Layton was wrong about whining about two-tier health like Harper wanted. Other than that, I mostly like Jack. Yeah, honestly, I don't really know too much about Jack Layton, so I wouldn't be able to give you too much of an opinion about him. You know, I remember, yeah, a lot of people liked him, but honestly, man, if you're an NDP, I just assume you're a socialist, and I would never ever vote for you. And if you're in a socialist party, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. And you know, I don't know what's the matter with you, right? The NDP, they were still socialists back then. They're still fucking communists. So, you know, I guess maybe they I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about him to really give. But if you're an NDP, I'm just like, I just ignore you completely, right? First step: stop giving healthcare and welfare to immigrants until they have been working for at least 10 years. That's a good first step, right? That would be perfect. I would be 100% for that, you know. And that these are the first steps we got to be taking, stuff like that, right? Or adding a 2-tier healthcare system and not giving it to this, and this would just expand it for everybody. By Plant Boy. Who's Plant Boy? My Plant Boy. I missed that. No, we teach. Let me see here. Of course, my man, working on some other shows for now. Nice. Thank you, dude. Allegedly, Scheer made SNC comments despairingly against Justin against the libel slander riot act. I didn't see that. I saw your Jeff A interview. Good job. You make him laugh. Oh, thank you, Saint. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you liked it. I know Fredrick FGM didn't like it. Well, he's like, good job. But he's like, I really wish you would have pushed JF more on China, or I mean SNC Lavalin. But I was like, why? Like, I don't. Why would I do that? Like, I was a guest, man. I'm not gonna. And I agree with his position. Or like, I don't care about his position. I'm like, I never thought about that before too. In Quebec, in that perspective, how they're just using up the rest of Canada as much as possible. They're just like, yeah, I know. We just buy it. We get a lot of benefits, and then we go into debt, and then we make the rest of Canada. And that's like their way of like getting back at people for staying in Canada, I guess. So I'm like, that's kind of funny. Honestly, the way I think about that now, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't like the NDP, AJ. I liked Jack Layton. Well, okay, right, but he was bringing the party centrist, and even Mansbridge said to Trudeau that many noticed bills were farthest left party with Jack in. Okay, well, that's the thing. I don't know much about him, so if he was bringing the party more to centrism, then you know, that's a good thing. But I don't like centrism either. And I think centrism is just as bad almost as leftism, and will just lead to leftism. But But yeah, that's good, you know. Hey, Cardosa Media, how's it going, buddy? Thank you for dropping by. I don't think I've seen you here before. Mostly Albertans, but I think I got a couple more topics to cover here. I don't know if anybody, I'm going to throw the invite in the chat here. Let me throw this here. If anybody wants to hop on, they can. Also, join me on IDW, guys, and on Discord as well. If you haven't joined my Discord, here, one sec. Here's promote us. Here, follow. If none of you guys are on IDW, follow me through this link, and it'll give me points, and then I can up my level, my tier rank on that bullshit. And then invite people. Copy. Come to my Discord, guys. If you haven't joined my Discord, join it. You have lots of trees and oil. Thanks. Oh, right. Are you talking about me? Yeah, no, I got a lot of paintings. I'd love to hop on, but I'm here in Burgerland about to grill some fat steaks. Nice, man. Oh, I got to do that. I got to make some food soon. I got to go. I hope you all have a great time with the stream. I'm glad I was also able to catch the stream, AJ. Thank you, Catherine, for dropping by. I really appreciate that. Good afternoon. Plant Boy is Plant Boy 100. One of your commenters. Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I have not seen that. I did not see. But what was that right? One of the last stories I have, I guess, favorite this link. What is this? Okay, this is great job, man. Let's see here. What is this? RCMP says no charges in fatal shooting of Newfoundland Don Dunphy. Okay. I'll check out that story a little bit later. Was just watching your video on the meth BS in Winnipeg. So ridiculous what's happening there. Yeah, it is. It is really fucked up what's happening in Winnipeg. And, you know, I see stories all the time. And it's just more and more stuff like this. And I keep seeing like Aboriginal kids getting off with like murdering people. And they keep getting off because they're Aboriginal. And it's like, oh, because of residential schools and this and that, we're going to let you go into the public. And it's okay that you killed this person. It's all right. You know, racism is bad. We're going to put you back in the community and blah, blah, blah. And this happens in a lot of Winnipeg and shit. And yeah, it's disgusting, man. The meth is getting really bad here. A lot of people are dying, getting overdosed. And it's just sick. Here's from JF Show with you the other day. From JF Show. Oh, okay. Let me see. Thanks a million. Oh, you were watching last night, or I mean the other day on JF Show. Yeah, Winnipeg is bad. It can be bad, but you know, it's not too bad in the in most areas. It's just the north end is pretty bad, but now it's starting to move to other areas, and even in my area, like I live in in the south of Winnipeg, and I'm starting to see bums start to move over, and I'm like walking across the street. I'm like, why is there a bum here asking for money in the fucking road and shit? I'm like, why are you here? You should be downtown or some other fucking place. And I even seen like down here, and this is like a suburban type area. It's like there was some Muslim woman like begging with a hijab on the side of the street, and I'm like, you're probably a refugee getting money for child benefit tax. You're gonna have child benefit tax probably from the government. Plus, you're probably living in a house that the government provides for you and getting welfare and all this shit. And you're going and panhandling to dumb fucking Canadians who think, oh, there's a Syrian refugee, I gotta help her. Oh, fuck this bullshit, man. I'm really sick of this shit. Panhandlers make a lot of money too, a lot of them. Because AJ Listis, and thanks for taking the time to have a glance at the Don Dunphy thing. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I'll take a look at that afterwards. Maybe I'll read it today or right now. Native Vice made a documentary. I forgot what city though. Yeah, that was in Winnipeg. That Native American Aboriginal gangs. That was about Winnipeg. And you know, there are a lot of them. They're just black wannabes, like black gangster wannabes from America. But yeah, there's a lot of most of the prisoners in Winnipeg and our crime and people who do crime are Aboriginals. Like 80% of the criminals are pretty much Aboriginal and all that shit. AJ, I love you so much. You speak the truth. Oh, thank you, Julie. Yeah, I try to. Murder Peg. Yeah, it's Murder Peg, Winter Peg. We got a lot of names, and it's I like it. I like Winnipeg. I like the city. I think it's beautiful. I think Winnipeg is a beautiful city. I love it in the middle of spring or winter, or spring or summertime. If I get up on a tall building in the middle of the city, because Winnipeg is the largest forest in Canada, like the largest elmwood forest. So, you get up and you see all these trees among the buildings. Like it's actually really nice. It's really beautiful. There's lots of areas to go around. The architecture is actually really fucking nice. It's really old. It was made by these Europeans from Europe. They were trying to like replicate some of the stuff that was being created in Europe at the time, or these old places. And like, yeah, it's getting worse, and it's sad, right? I like Winnipeg. I think it's good. Other than freezing and getting really cold in the wintertime and like -40, and I got to work outside like -40 and shit. Other than that, it's pretty good. if you can handle like frostbite weather like through like at least 3 months of the year, and then the rest is just kind of chilly, then you'll be okay. Yeah, summer in Winnipeg is really nice. See, it's great considering we're into prairies. It is. It's beautiful in here. I love Winnipeg, and summer in Winnipeg. It's like the air smells so fresh because there's, like I said, there's so many trees everywhere. The streets are like, they look really nice. They're big, wide streets. Like there's a lot of beauty in Winnipeg, and a lot of people overlook it. And they can all go fuck themselves, to be honest. Each of you Winnipeg haters. I get all these comments on that Winnipeg video. Oh, I thought Winnipeg was always a shithole. Winnipeg. It's like, yeah, fuck you, blocked. You're blocked. You're blocked. These Toronto people or all these other assholes. Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. You know what? You get put user in timeout. You're in timeout. That's what you get. That's what you get. That's what you get. You get for insulting Winnipeg, you son of a bitch. I was in Whiteshell last weekend. So nice. Yeah, Calgary. Fuck Calgary. No, I'm joking. I don't have an issue with Calgary. See, I don't want to bring this division between the provinces, but people like to bring it to me and tell me how irrelevant Manitoba is, and how irrelevant we are. And you know what? I saw this thing by the Weather Channel Manitoba, and they were like, sorry, Winnipeg and Manitoba, we care about you. We know we ignore you constantly, but don't worry, we're actually thinking about you in the news. You're like, God, fuck you. I'm starting to miss the snow, cold regions from which my people come. Yeah, man, we're fucking, we're bred. We're bred for this shit. Like, man, it's cold in Winnipeg. You don't want to move to Winnipeg. Trust me. Go. If you move to somewhere, go to Toronto. That's like more of a manageable cold, or Vancouver or something. But go to hell, Calgary. Trudeau's and Hamas. Yeah, I've never been on Ottawa, but I'm sure that place is probably pretty gorgeous too. But soon it'll be overrun. It'll be overrun by, Muslims or something. It was the hub of Canada back in the day, like the 1900s and shit earlier on. But I don't know. I guess it just went to shit over the years, and it's kind of, it's a prairie. There's not a lot to see here, and it's really cold. It's a harsh climate, and not everybody wants to fucking hack it, right? That's why there's a lot of natives here, because they're like bred for the cold, man. I work with some native people, and I'm like, how are you not cold wearing that? It's like fucking -30. I was with this guy Tyson, and he's wearing like like a hoodie and a t-shirt underneath and like jeans. I'm like, it's like -30. I'm like, man, like, how are you not fucking freezing, man? I don't care. Just laughing. I'm like, man, you're fucking hilarious, dude. But you know, there's yeah, a lot of Aboriginals and shit, but they're you know, they're bred for that fucking cold though, especially them. Them native girls are thoughts. Hey. Don't say that, man. That's not right. Durka. That's the wrong kind of Indian. That's the Indian with the dot. Calgary is the most right-wing city. Yeah, right. That is pretty awesome. I like that. You know, I went to Grand Prairie and all the people were there were just like telling me how much they hate Trudeau, and I was like, this place is awesome. Like I didn't even say anything. They're just like, so what do you think of Trudeau? I'm like, he's a fag. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, we think he's a fag too. And yeah, he's ruining Canada, blah, blah, blah. But here's raccoons here prefer halal. It's because they prefer the cold. The drunk, they don't feel the cold. Yeah, it's true. That is true. But not even that. It's not because they're drunk. It's because they do have like a tolerance for cold, more so than other people. Like they do. From maybe not all of them, but I would assume they do. Okay, I'll give out the links again. Here's the link to my IDW. Follow it through here and join, you know, my account. And here is here's the fucking Discord as well. If anyone wants to join my Discord, go there. If anybody wants to join my Gab, I'm on Gab. I'm also on Minds, but nobody uses Minds, so it's kind of gay. Here, my profile. Here, Gab elicits copy. If you want to go on Gab, go there too. What goes? I'm IDW. Sorry, I don't know what you said there. Alcohol doesn't freeze. I'm not sure. Calgary is so right wing. Why do they have a muzzy mayor? That's true. At least second term, he said, vote for me and you're racist, and it worked. Yeah, I hate that guy. I hate the fucking mayor of Calgary. He's the worst. AJ, can I get this racism out of me? No, you can't, man. It's once it's in you, you're fucked. Marilyn Manson follows you on IDW. Marilyn Manson? He does? When? I don't see that. He's not on here. Come on, guys, follow me on here. Come on. I'm waiting for people to join me. Whoever, if you're not on IDW, there's, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? You're not living life. Marilyn Manson follows who? Yeah, Black Fox. Go on IDW. It's the intellectual dark web. It's the intellectual dark web. It's the new site created by Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin. And it's like, you know, who cares who made it, though? It doesn't matter. Just join me on it because I'm banned from Twitter. I'm banned from Twitter. I can't use it. So join me on that. There we go. We have a proven resistance to cold. A blackjack sued UK army because he got frostbite, and blacks get it much easier. Right? Yeah, we do. Like, you know, white people have more resistance to cold than black people, and yeah. Well, I am too based for it, I guess, but it's a platform, right? And I want another place where I can talk to people because I'm banned from Twitter permanently. My IP is completely banned. I don't use Facebook because Facebook is gay. Nobody uses Minds. Barely anybody uses Gab right now. And you know, I want more people to share. Another place to share my videos as well too. And that's another place. That's where you can go to red pill people, because these people, you can red pill them more easily than you can probably, I don't know, the general public or some shit. Yeah, right. And but that's the thing too. It might be good that it's a collection of centrists and stuff like that, because that could potentially get bigger people like PewDiePie or whatever on these platforms, and you'll get more of an audience, more people to debate with, to argue with, because that was so good about Twitter, because it had so many different people with different ideologies on there, and that's how you go and that's how you reach new people. But like on Gab, everybody on there is right wing or national socialist or whatever. So you're not really reaching a new audience. You're not changing minds. You're not doing anything, because you're just kind of talking to an echo chamber half the time. But at least with IDW or whatever, because I can't share my shit on Twitter, I can share it there. Then people will be like, "Well, you're wrong about identity politics," and then I'll be like, "Well, am I wrong? Are you sure?" And you'll have a discussion about that in there. They can watch the video and they can maybe learn, get pushed away from some of the shit that people are teaching them, right? To new ideas in the worldview has recently crumbled. There are people that think Jordan Peterson is red-pilled. They're open to new ideas, and their worldview has recently crumbled. Exactly, right? A lot of them are just there, are right there, that we can get them and get more people, more allies. Why should we ignore something like that, a new avenue, right? Do you watch Dangerfield? He just did great on what you're talking about now with social media. No, I have not watched Dangerfield, to be honest. Have not seen it. How long is this stream been going on for? Fucking anyways, like 2. I started at 1. Okay. I'll probably end it soon, guys. I'll probably end it soon. I'm black from the waist down. Yeah, me too, buddy. Me too. We're all black from the waist down. But no, now you're just giving props. Ask Judge Justine Tristafari. I don't know who that is. With Iconoclast. Oh, that guy, he does? Okay, I like the Iconoclast videos, right? He makes some good content. If you guys see Vertical Politics too, he makes some pretty good videos. I like his videos. They're pretty well made. Ruby, i.e. Rubenstein, right? Steen. Speaking of Jewish people, this I thought was kind of interesting. I'll read this here. One sec here. Share video, share content. So this is from Israel. This is from Al Jazeera. Human rights equated with national suicide. This is true. Israel High Courts upholds a law preventing Palestinians from living with their spouses in Israel. We need to do this. We need to do laws like they're doing in Israel. This is from 2012. I don't know. The Israel government has repeatedly demanded that Palestinians recognize Israel as a Jewish state. Recently, developments in Knesset High Court are exposing exactly what this means, and in doing so, throw the spotlight on the issue that the peace process Western governments refuse to tackle. On Wednesday, Israel High Court rejected a legal challenge to a citizenship and entry into Israel law by a 6-5 vote. The law, first passed as a temporary measure in 2003, renewed ever since, prevents Palestinians from the occupied territories and those from enemy states from living with their spouses in Israel. For thousands of Palestinians' family, Israel's new law means a choice between moving. What did I see here? Legal Rights Center, who have been deeply involved with challenges into the law, said the high courts exist, depriving citizens maintain family. Government has argued the law is not security. Rights group, baseless. Its motivation has been completely hidden. I can't remember what the fuck I was reading. Demographic threats. This ruling also comes just 2 days after passing an amendment to the Prevention of Infiltration law, which targets asylum seekers with draconian arrest measures. Under new law adopted by a strong majority of MKs, refugees can be held in detention for 3 years without trial, including children, with those coming from enemy states like Sudan. Eligible for indefinite detention, groups like Amnesty International have slammed this is human rights violation. The background of this law is once again racist rhetoric about the demographic threat to the Jewish state. In August 2010, Prime Minister Netanyahu said the issue of deporting migrant children was influenced by Zionist considerations. But it's like, see, they kind of have like the same problem in Israel that we're kind of having in a lot of ways. I can understand why there's a lot of nationalists that probably support Israel, right? And they don't really know exactly everything, but they're just reading stuff like this and be like, yeah, man, I want the same fucking thing for our country. Section Israel fights, but yeah, they're even linking, European right-wing extremists to sections of the Israeli right. Their shared obsession with blood, soil, and demography, and blah blah blah. But it is more accepted in places like Israel, right? Oh, it's this. Okay, so there's the Vatican story. This is that story gave. RCMP says no charges in fatal shooting of Newfoundland Doug Murphy Dunphy. What is this story here?
When your hands are
commercial.
You show everyone.
Fuck you. Buy this truck. Feel inspired. Buy my truck. Feel inspired.
A year and a half after the bizarre shooting death by police at this home, and even after several investigations, the circumstances of the killing
it's
remain
kitty
a closely
cats.
guarded secret. A 59-year-old man, Donald Dunphy, shot dead 15 minutes after a police officer with the Newfoundland Constabulary arrived at his door. An RCMP investigation concluded the officer, the only living witness, should not face criminal charges because he opened fire after Dunphy pointed a loaded rifle at him. Now, an outside review conducted by the Alberta Serious Incident Response Team supports the Mounties' findings. The officer was acting in self-defense.
The appropriate force was used in the circumstances of this situation.
It started with a comment by Dunphy online that police treated as a threat against then Premier Paul Davis. Many thought the comment was about two politicians who'd already passed away. Still, it triggered a plainclothes member of the Premier's security team showing up at Dunphy's door alone 2 days after the alleged threat.
In plain clothes. What a faggot. What?
We're part of the investigation.
In plain clothes.
Sharing all the investigation details.
Oh, of course not.
The report publicly 2 weeks after
Scum.
receiving it. Neither have they released details of their original investigation. The Mounties have met with Dunphy's daughter and her lawyer. In a statement late today, they leveled stunning allegations, including that Alberta investigators found errors occurred in the criminal investigation, resulting in a loss of evidence, and that a retired judge appointed as an independent observer completed a separate report that raises concerns about the shooting incident itself. All sides are choosing their language carefully before another investigation starts, a public inquiry promised by the current Liberal government.
So I think people out there, including me, are asking these questions. Why was an officer there in the first place? Who sent this officer? How did this happen? What happened in the house that day? What happened after?
The Justice Minister did remind media there's no legal limit on laying criminal charges at a later date if new information emerges. Ross Lord, Global News, Halifax.
So what, they're going to charge him again for doing nothing? But here's the IDW if you guys haven't seen it. There's my account. Here's the site. Here, this is how it looks. Kind of clunky, They got groups. There's groups: human trafficking, sex organ trade. Interesting. That's not a very nice picture. What the fuck? What the fuck, Podesta? Yeah, that's some fucked up shit. So hey, there's some stuff on here. There we go. The culture war. But guess what? I got a group too. Join my group. Go here. There's mine. AJ Illicits. I got 6 members. I need more members. Join my group. Join my group. See, it's just me posting there. Loser. Like, Jesus Christ. There's Reddit. Let's see what Reddit news. This is what I use instead of Twitter now. And it kind of works, and I kind of like it. Because you can save the article, save it for later. You can read it. Go to your saved articles here. My profile, I don't know, saved. And then, yeah, there's all this shit here. Stuff I saved. I went to school with this girl. She was in my grade, and this was actually Stop Harper. Remember this girl? It's like Stop Harper. She was in my grade. This is like Brigitte de Pape, her name was. Well, I don't want to dox her. I guess I already did. Sorry. But I don't know. She was a nice girl. She was nice. I always got along with her. I never had any issues with her, to be honest. So, but this is like, she was like the up and coming SJW, I guess, like before they became too unmanageable. Psychology. This is fucked up shit here. What is this? Look at this. Without immigration, Canada's growth could close to 0 in 20 years if low fertility rates persist, stats can. Serious about stopping climate change? Have one less child, UBC study says. So it's like, you know, have less kids. Have less children. You know, here's, yeah, the doctors being fucking political about their shit. And they're like, stop gun violence. It's bad. Ethics complaints. Oh, this is that liberal activist here that attacked this Trump supporter here. Is there a video of this? I think I had a video. But she was like, I'm going to dox you. But he turned out to be Jewish, so it kind of backfired on her. This is an article I was reading a while ago. It's like, hey, you want to have less babies? Yet another article discouraging people to have less babies. The cost of having children. Women lose earnings for 5 years after birth, RBC. So, yeah, of course, because they're out of the workforce, you fucking idiots. At the end, they're like, women should start having kids at, like, I don't know, 30 or between 25 and 34 or something like that. So it's like, yeah, just make it less likely for them to be able to birth children because they have, like, no more eggs. There's another part. Another thing I saved. Like, look at Guardian. Want to fight climate change? Have fewer children. All white babies. Why have 4 children when you could have 7? Family planning in Niger. Interesting. Very, very interesting. You know? Fuck these people, man. But see this woman? This woman, I don't give a shit about her. You know? They're kidnapped. Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get. Canadian woman has been missing in West Africa several months. Has reported being kidnapped and taken to Mali. And we just stopped our mission to Mali as well in Canada too, so it's kind of funny. And her Italian companion, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're dead. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Look at these people. This would be a huge story if these people were white, right? But 2 black people. And it's funny in the article they don't show. Okay, charity donations. These people they took all these donations that were meant for kids and just sent all of their friends and family to like Laker games and all this shit. And it's just like, yeah, they're stealing charity. But yeah, you know, check out Reddit. It's pretty good. It's actually, I used to never use it before, but you know, follow Meta Canada, and that stuff, it's mostly to do with Canada. So you see, like, you know, I don't know, reminder, the whole teacher layoff thing is bullshit. They're just not replacing some of the ones who retire. Trudeau is trying to sue Scheer for criticizing him over SNC. What? I think somebody was saying that, right? PM's lawyer sent letter to opposition leader about remarks made concerning the SNC land matter. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer has reviewed a lawsuit threat from Prime Minister regarding comments he made about SNC. Scheer says he received a letter from Justin. The letter from Trudeau's lawyer, Julian Porter, took issue with what they term inappropriate comments in a statement made by Scheer March 29th in response to new documents tabled the Justice Committee. From Attorney General Rebould, highly defamatory comments. Trudeau has been under fire for the last 2 months. Yes, we know. Email, tape recording, we know this. Scheer made statements. Interference, lying to Canadians, corrupt conduct. Yeah, he did. political interference of lying to Canadians and corrupt conduct. So Trudeau's lawyer alleges Scheer made false statements and refers to the Libel and Slander Act of Ontario, which deals with any publicly published materials or comments that defame or disparage an individual or their profession. So he's using probably government money to pay this lawyer on our behalf to sue Scheer because, like, what a joke, man. What a fucking joke. The Prime Minister supports wide-ranging and vigorous political debate on matters of public policy, except, oh my God, man. However, your statement in its entirety is beyond the pale of fair debate. How many libelous claims has he made about the right, or people have constantly make about the right, but, you know, personally and in the way, but they can't use the government to fund it either. Prime Minister attempts to silent debate. Scheer's retain legal counsel as well. Blah, blah. Is profoundly disappointed the Prime Minister is seeking to silence debate on the matters of such great public importance. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy shit. It's uncommon but not unprecedented for a sitting Prime Minister to threaten legal action against another parliament, especially leader opposition. A decade ago, Stephen Harper launched a $3.5 million libel lawsuit against the Liberal Party after it posted a website headlines alleging 2 senior Conservatives attempted to bribe the independent MP Chuck Cadman to secure his cooperation on a crucial budget vote that threatened to topple Liberal minority government 2005. The headlines claim Harper also knew about the alleged bribe, which was all lies, so that these were libelous claims. But Trudeau, the claims made against them were not libelous. The lawsuit was dropped. Jean Chrétien threatened to sue Reform party leader Preston Manning, Prime Minister, blah, blah, blah. He dropped threat a year later. So I don't know. Yeah, it'll probably, you know, be dropped, I guess. But, you know, that's typical of Trudeau to do something like that. Liberals risking lives by keeping Trudeau in power. Feds giving $405,000 to homeowners near illegal border crossings hotspots. Yay! Sir Mick Jagger had a heart valve problem, came to New York for replacement with a private doctor instead of waiting his turn with the British national healthcare system. Canada expects foreign meddling in October. So yeah, just, you know, more things, take away our rights, etc. But yeah, fat shaming. But yeah, this is a good site. You know, I recommend people go check this out. It's pretty good. I follow some leftist things here too. Jordan Peterson. But it's funny to follow like racism. 2 chromosomes. I said stop during sex, and he did. These people are funny. 2 chromosomes, just hilarious. Hilarious stuff. What else is there? Shout out to the guy at my boyfriend's work. Mom sexualizes everything about me. Something to remember. It's a bunch of feminists on here. I just blew my husband after months of no sex, saying I love you for the first time. And I broke up with my fiance, and I feel so alive. And she's probably just whoring it up. Probably just becoming a woman is like running face first into a brick wall. So hard. It annoys me so much when clothing stores are all like positivity, body image, yada yada yada. Now it's like, now they don't like the image they're getting. This is also a good little thing. A lot of fucked up videos on here. Tornado takes that out. That's scary. She means business. Man stroking hyena.
It's not an African speaker. No.
That's pretty fucking scary. That kid's fucking... Like, Jesus Christ. Man, you gotta love fucking Asian people. Like some mukbang for you. The crocodile blowjob? Okay, no, maybe not. That's gonna get me banned. School milk a few days ago. Okay, yeah, that's. Well, yeah, no, check it out. You know, I'm also on there too. You guys can follow me there. You check out the chat here, though. I haven't even looked at this for a little while. So let's see here. What are you guys saying? I'm probably gonna end it right away here, guys. Let me just read the chat here. See what anybody's brought anything up. If anybody made a super chat, just add it or let me know right now. So then I'll address it. If I didn't see anything, okay. Saint, who was lawyer, pushed apartheid. Let's go hiking in Islamic country. Yeah, right. I'm for stealing charity. Ricardo and his sissy snowflake. I finally found you on IDW, but when I try to join group, it reads an error occurred. Try again later, but at least I found you. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Good to catch you live, man. Thanks, buddy. Got to be a white guy. Petted the yeah, exactly. Great show. Thanks, AJ. Oh, thank you for coming by, guys. Really appreciate it. Had a good showing today. But yeah, I think that's about it. Unless anybody has anything else they want to bring up. Hey, Pravada, how's it going, man? I really appreciate you getting me on JF's stream the other day. Man, I really appreciate that. I had a great time on his stream. I had a lot of fun. You know, JF definitely knows what the fuck he's doing. He knows how to run a show and how to keep it going. And, you know, yeah, I got a lot more respect for him, honestly, after that. But yeah, no, I really appreciate that. But yeah, you're actually catching me right at the end of this stream. I think I've been going on for at least 3 hours right now. So I think that's probably good. You sent a super chat? Okay. What was it? Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, thank you for reminding me. See, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Winnipeg is the heart for $5. Soaker City said, Winnipeg is the heart of Canada. Great, wholesome place. Lots of nice Jews and exciting Native people. Yeah, that's true, man. Half the city is owned by like Jews, man. I'm not even joking you. Like half the city, I forget what the name of the family is called, but and our old premier or mayor was, I'm pretty sure was Jewish too, the NDP guy. When I stream at very random times. I do a regular stream, honestly, on Wednesdays and Saturdays with Fredrick and Chris. I've been doing that lately, and you know, as of late, like right now, I just kind of felt like doing a stream a couple hours ago, and I just kind of started one up on the randomly. Rise Manitoba. I know we need to rise, and you know, Manitoba needs to be the first one to make the move to separate, so then we will actually be in the news again, and people will start talking about us again and be like, "Whoa, you hear about Manitoba?" Because right now we're just completely ignored. Like, nobody cares. And same with Saskatchewan; they're pretty ignored. They're pretty much ignored too. It's pretty much both of us. So you know, we need to separate, as well as Alberta coming along and separating with us. But either way, guys, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate that. If there's that steakhouse, Jerry's Super Jerry or Jewy, great sandwiches. Looks like it's getting it's setting for Goodfellas. Okay, Jerry's. Maybe I'll check that out. There's a lot of good restaurants in Winnipeg too. There's a lot of good food here for sure. Good chat and take good care. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Claude. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around, too. I really appreciate that. You know, a good amount of people in here. Seems like they were interested, so that's all good. Yeah, man, it's got some good food, Soaker. Justin Trudeau to sue Andrew Scheer. Vote PPC, Maxime Bernier, PPC. I agree, man. I agree. I'm still going to support Maxime Bernier at this point. You know, I don't think that it really matters. Really, I don't want to vote for Scheer. They're too much pussies right now. So it'd be like a protest vote. But you know, you may as well, right? Some people are like, I'm just not going to vote. Well, you may as well protest vote for one of the parties, even the National Canadian Alliance. Vote for that. Vote for the Christian Heritage Party. Whatever. You know, at least you got your vote, and people will know why you voted why the party lost. The Conservatives, they'll be able to look and be like, wow, all these people voted for true right-wing parties. We could have got all this support if we weren't pussies. And that is the only way to kind of shift a party, right? There's really no other way. You can't change it from the inside. You can't, okay, well, we'll vote for them this time, and then we'll try to convince them once they're in power to change and do things differently. It's like, no, that's not how it works. It's not going to work that way. Right. Right. You know, that's true. That's true, Pravada. You know, they just dog whistle. I like Canadian Nationalist Party platform better than even Max's, but yeah, right, I do. Well, actually, I was reading. I haven't read it fully, so I can't comment on it. But I liked, like I said, I liked the Christian Heritage Party platform. I thought that was actually pretty good, and they were like pretty right wing. Like, you know, I can't remember what their stance on immigration was, but I'm pretty sure it was like reducing it and like saying like focusing on Canadians and whatnot. So. Either way, one of the three parties is kind of like, if you're not going to vote at all, like Fredrick was telling me, and I laughed so hard, man, at the end of the day, he's like, I convinced these people at my work not to vote or to vote for Doug Ford. He's like, but I didn't vote for Doug Ford because he's like, oh, I don't want to vote for that. I don't want to say I vote and tarnish my, like that. Like, what's the point of convincing other people not to vote for Trudeau and to vote for Doug Ford? And then you're not going to vote for Doug Ford too. Like you may as well just fucking vote for it. I know he's not perfect and shit like that, but and I just laughed so hard. And he's like, yeah, you have the same reaction to the people. I'm like, yeah, why are you working so hard to convince these people? If you think voting doesn't, like, just vote, man. Like, just fucking vote. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You may as well. And the way politicians look at voting is they look at ridings, they look at areas, and if they see an area where nobody votes, they'll be like, oh, I can ignore this place because I don't need to pander to what they want. And politicians, they want to win. They want to win, and they want to win over their competitors, and they want to at least listen to some people's wants and needs, the people that they do need. So if they see areas that vote a lot, etc., then they're more willing to potentially pander to them. And it's like, yeah, I'm trying to work with the democratic system. It's shit. It's horrible. It's really difficult, and it probably won't work. But there's that option, or just completely ignoring the system whatsoever and just letting it do whatever it wants over time. But you know, I don't know, whatever it may be better. Maybe that would be better. Maybe better just to step out and let it corrupt and degrade quicker, as opposed to trying to pull it back. Who knows? I'm not entirely sure, but I still think that, you know, you may as well vote for one of these parties if you think that voting doesn't matter anyways, right? Would you ever want to have guests turning over like JF does? I would like to see Canadians start talking about our issues and having guests bring attention. Yeah, I'd definitely take some guests and stuff on my show, and try to make it more of a regular thing, because I do work during the day. Like right now it's the weekend, but usually I work during the week, Monday to Friday, sometimes during the weekends, occasionally. But after work, maybe if I can start doing more regular shows, after 6, it doesn't have to be every day, because some days after work, because I do roofing and shit today, sometimes I'm just tired. I'm just tired as fucking shit after work. And I'm like, I just can't, I don't have the energy to make videos sometimes, or even do a fucking stream. I'm just so tired and beat. And, but I do want to do regular streams, and I do want to host more people, talk about Canadian issues, because yeah, we definitely lack a lot of that. There's not a lot of it going on, and a lot of them are cucks too, right? A lot of them are not going to talk about some of the more racial issues that are going on, because they don't want to alienate certain groups of people, which I don't really care about, right? And I don't care if truthful words hurts people's feelings and alienates them. I'd rather attract the people who can look past those words and just hear the truth behind, what we're talking about, what I'm saying, right? Instead of just getting all offended and it's like, we can't worry about offending people anymore. We just have to stay the truth, nothing but the truth. The truth will set us all free. You know, nobody ever wants to hear the truth because it's often forces them to change, forces them to look at themselves. So nobody wants to hear the truth when it comes to anything, but it's the only thing that will make your life better, that will make other people's lives better. You know, if you don't tell the truth to some fat slob eating themselves to death that they're going to die, then you're not doing anything good for that person. You're actually hurting that person in the long run, and you would be better. You don't have to be mean to them, right? But, you know, if you're not truthful, if you're not saying, hey, your diet is going to lead to your early death, then you're not doing them a favor, and you're not being kind. You're being mean, right? Or you're being cowardly, right? You're just avoiding you're avoiding the backlash. You don't want to face the potential, you know, demonization that you will encounter from telling the truth, which is true. You know, when you do tell the truth, you will be attacked. You will be labeled a racist. You will be labeled whatever, a Nazi, etc. But you just got to kind of take it in. You got to accept it. You got to don't let these words control you, because that is how they've been controlling us. They've been controlling us through words, and we've been allowing them to control us through words this whole time, and we don't need to. AJ, I'm stream sniping you while I play a video game. You son of a bitch, Jamesy. You son of a bitch. Well, I'm going to end the stream right away, probably. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit though. Pravada, yeah, definitely. We'll do some stuff. Get some more Canadians on. There's other Canadians around. I want to talk about these issues. Yeah, I'm all for it, right? And that would be great. But I think that's about all, guys. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate that. I had a good time. You know, we covered a lot of topics. If you guys didn't see the whole thing, go back and watch the rest of it. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. All that shit helps a lot. And also join me on IDW. Like I said, I don't have a Twitter, so it's a good way to contact me there. And then you can easily message me on IDW, because I'll check that stuff every day. And I don't have a Facebook account because Facebook is gay. And also follow me on what else was I on there? Oh yeah, Discord. Follow me on Discord too. I got the link. I'll put it in there one more time for anybody that wants to see it again there. Well, I'm just bringing up the thing here. Invite, copy. Where's my video here? Did I get rid of the video? I think I did. Son of a bitch. Here, one second, guys. I keep saying I'm gonna go, but then I keep staying around. Oh, fuck. God damn it. I gotta open up a whole new thing because I exited out of it. I gotta get 2 screens too, because that's what I'm lacking right now. I gotta get 2 computer screens so then I don't have to go in and out of this shit. Okay, here. Politics. Now I got it open again. Right wing. But yeah, come on. It's just loading up, guys. Sorry. Hey, Matthew Roy. Hey, I'm related to Roy's. My mom's a Roy. Her last name is Roy. And Roy. Est-ce que vous êtes français, monsieur? Vous parlez français ou quoi? Hein? Yo, maybe you're a long lost cousin of mine. Maybe we're cousins. Ella Grant. Who's that? Get Ella, that hot tranny. No, she's super right wing. Can't remember her last name. No, man, I'm not getting any trannies on here. I don't care if they're right wing. I'm sorry, man. Where from? She was related to Gabrielle Roy. Maybe you're related to Gabrielle Roy. You know, that writer, famous writer and shit. But from Winnipeg. A lot of Roys in Winnipeg area and shit. That's on my mom's side. Leroy, yeah. Lots of royalty. Yeah, it was either Leroy or Roy, right? It was either some people have the L in front of it, or some people don't, or have removed it. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry. I'm sure she's hot, but I just, you know, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not really down with that. You can do what you want, though, right? I'm a pretty libertarian, so go ahead and be whatever you want. But honestly, I just get like sick. I get sick looking at transsexual people. I'm probably gonna get banned for saying this. I'm gonna get a community guideline strike. But I get it. They sicken me. Does not ring any bell. My family from Orleans, Ontario. Oh well, then screw you, Matthew. Screw you then. You don't. Fucking asshole. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. I've been dragging this on for a little bit too long. Thank you all for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. And hope you all have a great night. See you later.